for 70 years. You spell mayhem, Martinsville.
Baby, baby, step right up. Come on over, fill your cup.
It's a true test for the best.
This can either be the funnest track or the most frustrating track.
Bumping and grinding and pushing and shoving. Big time. They're all over each other. Holy smoly.
This place is tough.
That's as good as it gets, isn't it? It sure is.
What a wonderful little speed plant this is. It's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing at the Paperclip, the half-mile Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. NASCAR's tightest, shortest speedway that the Cup cars race on. And Martin Truex Jr. starts from the pole. Qualifying did not happen due to rain, so the field lines up due to the car owner point standings. Truex, Kyle Busch the front row, Logano Keselowski, Blaney Hamlin, and all the way back through this 38-car field. You'll see the starting lineup on the left of your screen.
What do you say we dial up Brad Keselowski starting fourth today? Hey Brad, this is Jeff up in the FS1 booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, your numbers here in the performance lately has been really impressive. So I feel like you're the right guy to ask this. You know, I'm curious, what can a driver do to stay on top of the changing track conditions that you're about to deal with once you get green?
I think just good communication with your team and, you know, them telling you what's going on that you might not see and what you're feeling, being able to communicate that back to the crew chief so they can make the right adjustments. It's, you know, Jeff, you've had a lot of success here, too. It's a big dynamic between the start and end of this race and what you need to go fast. So I got a good team, and I feel like they can make it happen.
Well, how about the patience level right now? This is a long race. You're going to be starting on the outside. We know how important it is to get down to that inside lane, especially later on some of these restarts. So how much patience can you have right now? Can you afford to lose some spots if you get stuck in that outside lane?
Yeah, I think so. You got that competition yellow, and 500 laps is a long ways here. And this is a car where the aerodynamics, or a track where the aerodynamics don't seem to be quite as critical. So you got a good car and good technique as a driver. You'll work your way back up there on those long runs.
Well, we're looking forward to all you guys going to battle here. So have some fun. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, buddy. Have a going up there in the booth. Appreciate everybody tuning in on a Monday.
Brad Keselowski will start fourth. That competition caution he mentioned will happen at lap 50. Back down to pit road, Matt Yoakum.
Mike, the 42 team planned ahead this weekend to simulate Martinsville's challenging pit road with banking in the corners and lack of vision, looking for the cars to come around the corner. Ganassi coach Sean Pete, he planned ahead. He had his squad practice in their parking lot at the shop. They found a bank corner. Even a minivan in a Winnebago helped to adjust timing for their jumps off the wall because they couldn't see the car coming around the corner. Pete made several adjustments due to that practice, and it certainly should pay off here today. Jamie Little?
Well, as a five-time winner here, Denny Hamlin's always a good bet when you come to Martinsville. But in final practice on Saturday, they were much slower than expected, 18th on the board. I talked to his crew chief, Mike Wheeler, and he told me they had to throw all kinds of changes that it actually reverted back to a setup, the baseline from 2 years ago. He also told me the key for today, don't over-adjust early, be patient, and don't speed on pit road. Vince Welch?
Well, when you haven't won since 2012, you're not often spoken of as a favorite. But Clint Bowyer has been among the best this week here at Martinsville. He's been runner-up here before. He was top 10 in both races last year, and Clint told me this is the best car he's ever had coming into the race at Martinsville. That 190 race drought, oh, how sweet it would be if it could come to an end today. Larry?
Yeah, let's take a look at our race analysis for our first short track race of 2018. We're going to go 500 laps, 263 miles. The first two stages, 130 laps apiece. The final stage, 240 laps. Pit road speed, 30. The fuel window is 150 to 160. We will have a competition cost at lap 50. And the grip level is a 3 with an asterisk by it. As rubber goes down, especially in the rear tires, Mike, it'll be like driving on ice, no pun intended.
Thanks, Larry. Hopefully all that ice has melted. Ricky Stenhouse in a backup car, Greg Galding, inspection issues, and Michael McDowell, unapproved adjustment. They will start at the back of the field. Everybody very appreciative of these fans for sticking around, those that could make it back to the track on the Monday, and everybody includes Jimmy's crew chief, Chad Knaus.
All right, James, let's get ready to rock and roll. First and foremost, I want to say hello to this awesome crowd that stuck around for a beautiful day of racing. Thank you for enduring all the snow, crazy weather, and everything else. I hope you enjoyed that truck race. I think this one's going to be even more exciting for you.
And a big thank you to Speedway President Clay Campbell, who yesterday went on social media to both apologize and explain to the fans about the delay. Spotting is a very different art. As they stand atop us in the middle of the front straightaway, a couple of spotters tell us about the difficulty of their job here.
You know, it's funny, everybody asks, how much do you look at your car referencing your paint schemes?
For such a short track like this, you're kind of scanning the whole track at one time.
If I'm staring at my car at a short track like this, chances are I'm not doing a very good job of spotting.
There's always something happening here. It's one of my favorite racetracks because of that.
We're leading the race, I'm still looking way ahead. Or if I'm running 20th, I'm still looking way ahead here at Martinsville.
Well, guys, if you're looking for your spotter, it's the one in the black jacket up there.
Very good, Larry. And back to Clay Campbell. He announced yesterday that if fans held a ticket for the truck race or this cup race, they would be admitted for the whole day. So if you had a ticket, you're here for the day, see both races, and hopefully enjoy a great battle as we just saw with John Hunter Nemechek winning in the Truck Series.
Oh, look like sort of Toyota teammates are going to swap here and probably work this initial start out.
Why would they do that, Jeff?
Well, I think what's going to happen is, you know, the 18, we already talked about that with Keselowski, with the 18 of Kyle Busch doesn't want to get stuck in that outside lane, so they'll both be single file by the time they get off the turn 2.
Well, our computer projection model, Bernie, did not freeze up overnight. Bernie picks Kyle Busch over Martin Truex, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano.
Well, when I looked at practice times and past history, I think Bernie is going to be rewarded today.
I think so. Come on, you hot dog. Here we go.
That's right, buddy. This is as good as it gets. This is the history of this place. One of the first racetracks that NASCAR ever came to. One of the most exciting races you're going to see all year. We're coming down here to get the green flag. The green flag's in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. And as Mike said, let's go racing, hot dogs.
Boy, these are nervous times for these drivers. Tires are really cold, track's cold. Not a lot of grip out there, especially under braking, getting in the corner. Already lap 1, we saw the 12 of Ryan Blaney lock up a left front tire getting into the corner.
And Mike, this is the third pole in a row for that 78 car. And remember last week, he dominated the race. He's not won on a short track. Martin Truex Jr. I'm talking about. I think today might be a day when he does just what he did last week, lead a lot of laps and maybe win this race.
Well, he's got a mirror full of Kyle Busch, who I think he wants to go out there and lead some laps today.
Power move by Denny Hamlin. He takes over 5th. He and Blaney were side by side a lap ago. But Hamlin got a better run off turn 2 last time by and sealed the spot.
Yeah, and Hamlin was not happy in practice. His car, the lap times weren't there. The balance wasn't there. We know how good he is. Here's a pass for the lead. Truex Jr. not going to fight and battle with Kyle Busch right now. Kyle Busch certainly, it seems like that team has found the balance here early. And that would make me nervous. I don't think I want to have a really well-balanced, a really good race car right now at this stage of the race. This track's going to change a lot.
Kyle Busch said he was tired of finishing second, tired of starting second. Where'd he end up in California? 3rd. I think that made him even madder. Jimmy Johnson on the move from 18th. He's gained 2 spots.
And Mike, it's just so if you get on the outside at all, you get freight train. I mean, you could be running the top 3 or 4. You get on that outside, you can fall back to 20th before you can find your way back in line. So right now, critical to stay on the bottom.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so challenging, how hard you want to fight and battle for that position. If you fight too hard, as we watch Eric Jones here on the outside is battling, you can, and that's Ryan Newman he's battling with. You got to be careful. If you battle too hard out there, the cars behind will catch up, and all of a sudden it is that freight train.
These two started side by side. They're still side by side.
And what you do, Mike, is it's so tempting when that guy behind you sticks that nose down on the inside and that spotter says he's looking. Early on, you'll just give him a little room. Later on, you'll say, I don't care if he's looking or not, I'm turning in.
Third place, Hamlin moves on Logano.
Really impressed with that move, the way that Hamlin's car looks right now. I mean, he's so good and patient here anyway, but after I was a little bit concerned for him after we heard some of his comments from practice. So great job to he and Mike Wheeler on the adjustments that they made with this car today.
Yeah, it looks like the Gibbs guys maybe got some pretty good notes for the start of this race. 18 leading, 11 running third right now. Cars look pretty racy.
Down the back straightaway, 9,000 RPM. Down to 5,000, 4,700 in the corner. That's got to be the biggest spread of RPM that we see at any racetrack.
It absolutely is. Almost 120 miles per hour all the way down to 60 miles per hour in the corner. You won't see that kind of variance at any track that we go to.
And Mike, you drive by the RPM. You don't look at the tack. You listen to the engine. And when it gets to a peak, certain point, you back off. That's your cue to back off.
Boy, look how far that brake pedal goes to the floor. It looks like it's almost going to go all the way to the floor. One thing you'll notice about the footwork here, and DW did it better than anybody, is you'll modulate that brake as you get to the center of the corner. As you start to release that brake pedal a little bit, the car cuts. Now you go hard to the throttle.
Yeah, what you got to watch with his left foot is he's fine right now. He's not tapping that brake. Right. Later on, as the pads wear a little bit, he'll want to hit that thing a couple of times before he gets to the corner to get those pads shoved out against the rotor.
Now, those Penske cars are running in line, but I'm a little concerned about Brad Keselowski. Twice now, he's gone, and between turns 1 and 2, the car shot up the racetrack. The last time it happened, his teammate got past there, Ryan Blaney, moving Keselowski back to the 6th spot. Haven't seen it happen since, but he was way up and out of the groove.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. That was a really good, one of the fastest cars. The two was consistent in practice.
Ooh, Harvick gets a corner on Kyle Larson.
Little kiss. Don't forget what happened with these two last week at Fontana and Auto Club Speedway. They got together. Harvick ended up destroying his car, getting into the outside wall.
Yeah, I wonder, Harvick going for 4 wins in a row last week. I wonder how disappointed he is. Very disappointed, I'm sure. Also wondered how he and Larson would race each other today. I think that little tap, Larson said, I better get out of his way, because he wasn't very happy with me last week.
Well, he's not happy at all, because Kyle Larson is getting freight trained. After Harvick, Almirola went by, Austin Dillon, and here comes Kurt Busch. Nope.
Yeah, he's not quite down. And Kurt Busch is one of those drivers, he carries a lot of entry speed, so he's not one you want to slam the door on getting into the corner here at Martinsville.
Yeah, a lot of guys, like I said, when they say they're looking, some guys you better give them some room, and he's one of them.
Ryan Newman now looking for 12th spot against Larson. And not going to get it here. Whoa, maybe. Contact. Little contact.
I think Larson must have a sign on the back of his car. Hit here. Hit me here. He's had a couple of shots already.
Now Newman had a lot of momentum going into turn 3. Now they're back single file once again.
And one of the things I think we're going to see here early in this race, because there was not a lot of rubber laid down this track, and it was all picked up actually from the truck race, you can start to see the groove of the right side tires starting to really lay that rubber down, but it's going to wear the left side tires out really fast.
Yeah, Mike, remember in practice how we saw, we got a Denny going into 2nd place here. That 11 car looks pretty good.
Yeah, real good.
Early in the race here, but they run the air pressure so low in the left side tires, the tire was actually wrinkling up. And you'll see a lot of black left rears is wearing the letters off the tires from the tires being so low.
19 laps complete. Kyle Busch in front of Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex, top 3, all Toyota.
Throughout the season, Ford will be searching for the most passionate NASCAR fans to become the first ever inductees into the Ford Hall of Fans. To learn more, go to NASCAR.com/Ford.
26 laps complete at Martinsville. There will be competition caution at lap 50, but Denny Hamlin is not waiting around.
No, they've got that 11 car dialed in, and we know how good Denny Hamlin is at this racetrack. I think that's bad news for the competition right there. See him up front early.
5 victories for Hamlin here, 2nd among active drivers all time.
And I like the way the car looks up off the corner. That's where you make time here. Not so much getting in when you get back in that gas and that car comes straight up off the corner. Watch Hamlin.
Yeah.
Car doesn't wiggle, straight up off the corner.
Denny's so disciplined here. You watch him. He just rolls in the corner. Doesn't carry a lot of speed through the center, but gets it pointed and really launches up off these corners. And that's when his car does that. That's when you know that Denny Hamlin's going to be a real major factor in this race.
Cut his teeth on the Virginia short tracks in a late model. He's tapped by the coach, Joe Gibbs. Up he moved.
Logano making a move on the 78 of Truex.
Third place.
Another car that's been really good here in the past, that 22 car, Joey Logano. If we had qualified, I'm not sure he wouldn't have won the pole because he has a number of poles here at Martinsville. He gets around this joint really, really well. What are they saying about the 22, Matt?
Well, DW, before that pass for third, you had all three Penske cars, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Ironically enough, all three are somewhat different setups. Logano likes to try to focus more on drive off from that exit of the corner to get a great shot down the straightaway. Meanwhile, the two car, he likes to focus on the center turn. Right now, though, Logano says his car needs a little bit more help rotating to the center of the corner, a little tight at this juncture.
Teammates battling here. Chase Elliott, William Byron, just in front of Trevor Bayne and Chris Buescher.
Jeff, I don't know about you, but if I have to have my car one way or another to start a race, I'd like for it to be a little snug.
Yes.
I don't want that thing jumping sideways because people will pass me if they do. A little snug, I can work with that.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll lose the bottom groove early in a run because of that. Somebody might you'll get to the inside and freight train you, but on the longer run, you definitely want to start out a little bit snug here. And I'm starting to see the groove change slightly as rubber's starting to get into this racetrack. You're starting to see some teams drivers straddle that lane of rubber in the corners and diamond this racetrack.
Now it gets tricky. As Keselowski completes the pass, race leader Denny Hamlin begins to get into lap traffic. That's DJ Kennington in the 96, sponsored by Gordon Brothers Investments. That's not one of your deals, is it?
No,
okay, all right, just
one
checking.
of my deals. I mean, we could talk.
Every other Gordon. There's Gordonville, there's Gordon Highway.
Pulling up on Ross Chastain in 36th place. And then Ricky Stenhouse just ahead. Remember, Stenhouse is in a backup car after a practice crash and has had no practice in that car. Then ahead of Stenhouse, Landon Castle in the 00 this week. Jeffrey Earnhardt and the 00 team parted ways during the week. So the Iowan Castle is here at Martinsville for them.
I just remember last year when Stenhouse was battling with Kyle Busch, when Kyle Busch was trying to put him a lap down prior to that first caution coming out. And so I wonder if Stenhouse is going to battle with Denny Hamlin here.
Well, here's what happened on Saturday to Ricky Stenhouse, way up ahead into turn 3.
Yeah, just got into the corner and wheel hopped the rear tires just enough to get him out of the groove.
That was Saturday. They unloaded the backup car, prepared for qualifying, which did not happen, so he had to start, would have had to start out back regardless of whether or not we had qualified. Vince?
Well, and you've got to be patient when you start from the back. And you know, that wheel hop is something that Ricky said in previous years they've had some issues with, but not at all last year. So he was definitely caught out by it in practice. And as you guys saw, the end result was that wall contact and going to the backup. But patience is the key over the 500 miles or the 500 laps. And remember, competition caution coming at lap 50, an opportunity to work on that car. A lot of teams asking for rear grip.
Yep, that's 11 laps away. Now here's Austin Dillon in 12th place. 4th best average finish over recent races here at this racetrack. But is there difficulty today, Jamie?
Yeah, it's interesting. Some radio issues early on for the 3 team. They're having a hard time hearing them, and they just told him, Austin, if you hear us, wave your hand out to Justin. They're saying Justin Alexander, his crew chief, to let us know. So they might have to make an adjustment on this stop and swap out some radios.
Wow.
Now, Mike, that's something that when the car's set overnight or for a period of time, a lot of moisture gets in a lot of systems in the car. I know that we're in the trailers with the heat on, kept the cars pretty warm, but those are things that you deal with after the cars have been covered up and setting for a while. Sometimes that moisture will get in there and mess up something.
This is Ryan Newman's car. Talk about brake heat. Plenty of it.
Wow. I mean, that is incredible. It never stops glowing, even down the straightaway.
I think what's interesting is how little the car travels. The cars are running pretty much you know, they don't have a ride height rules. They run right on the ground. But you watch that shock absorber. That's how we always told how much the car was traveling. Heck, that thing traveled 1 inch, not moving much at all.
And you know, we're used to seeing shocks with Packers and all kinds of bump stops, and there's nothing on that shock. So it's all about that spring and how much travel is built into that spring.
You know, Mike, the last thing you want to do is give up a bunch of spots on pit road by trying to do too much. But I think about Austin Dillon in that 3 car. Everybody locates their radios in a little different location. Let's go to our Ford Performance car, and we can show you where a lot of the teams locate the radios. They are right over here on the left side. So what they could possibly do is give Austin another radio, and he maybe, before we go back racing, he might can get that radio changed out on his own, so they would not lose any time on the pit stop.
And it could be any number of things. It could be where the helmet plugs into the wiring, to the system for the radio. Could be a lot of little things. Just have to track it.
6 laps to go to the competition caution. You are the bug on the bumper of A.J. Allmendinger's car today. Trying to get a spot from Austin Dillon before the yellow flag waves, and thanks to the 47 team for allowing us that camera placement. Pretty sharp view of the tight confines, not the friendly confines, of Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, and Austin is running the preferred line, Mike, but you got AJ back there. He's running the line that can take that preferred line and get you in trouble.
They're in lap traffic now. And Brad Keselowski goes to 3rd, passing teammate Joey Logano.
Yeah, all these positions are critical right now because they know they're getting ready to get a caution. They're going to be coming down pit road, putting 4 tires on. So a cleaner in and out of your pit stall is going to not only make up time, you know, now on the track if you can make that pass, but it'll make up time on pit road.
I saw Brad wave thanking, thank you for the pass. That car, Mike, remember, started the race a little tight, sliding up the racetrack. As we get into this run, it's getting better and better.
All the Stewart-Haas cars in the top 10, 7th through 10th. All right in a row. All the Penske cars in the top 10, all 3 of them. And in 2 laps, we'll have that competition caution.
Been pretty impressed with the 11 car. Very patient. Hadn't forced his way by anyone. He's waited for everybody to move up a little bit or get a run under him. Doing a nice job here coming to the end of the caution.
Yeah, I'm really anxious to see which teams make some big adjustments here early. This is a long race.
Put it out. Competition yellow. Leaders coming off of 2.
So Denny Hamlin has now led 24 laps. Kyle Busch 22 and Martin Truex the first 4 laps. NASCAR declared in the drivers' meeting competition caution at lap 50 because these cars did not get a chance to qualify and had not been on track since Saturday about 1 p.m.
The voice you heard was this NASCAR head chief scorer over there, doing a great job as always.
David Hoots.
David Hoots.
Fellas, how about a quick word from Dewey and Mountain Dew?
Call Dale Jr., please.
Hello? Stay tuned and find out more.
Man,
maybe. That was a quick word.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what comes next.
It's a long, winding pit road here at Martinsville. It starts in turn 3 all the way around to turn 2. Vince.
And the very first pit box belongs to Kurt Busch. He said, I like it because it's easy to get in and it helps me stay out of trouble as you go through that big bend that you're seeing there on the left side of the screen. It's a little bit loose. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires. Jamie?
And the 41 finishing up his pit stop as well. Denny Hamlin saying the car is pretty darn good. Didn't say much. Brad Keselowski said, I think we can go another stint here without any adjustments. He said it started off a little bit wiggly, and the 18 car has been really good to start. It's a 4-tire stop for all 3, Matt.
And Joey Logano stopping short in his box to help his exit because the 78 of Truex pitting right in front. Logano says the car is 1 loose on a 1 through 5 in entry. tight to the center, and he loses grip on exit. An air pressure change on the 22. A little bit extra time on that left rear. He loses a number of spots on pit road.
Here's your Sunoco race off pit road. Flawless for Denny Hamlin, who had a penalty in each of the last 6 races here, but they are flawless on this stop. Kyle Busch trying to get out as Cole Witt tries to get in. Welcome back to Martinsville. 54 laps complete. Little difficulty on pit stops here for Stewart Haas. Ouch. Eric Almirola coming out into Kevin Harvick. Penalties. Eric Almirola too fast entering pit road. Jamie McMurray too fast exiting. Bubba Wallace just too fast.
Just
multiple segments.
Yeah. I think the 10 car was going to have to come back in anyway.
Well, I don't know if he did. DW, did he come in?
Well, if he didn't, he will. They said he was speeding.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy contact with that right front and left front on the 10 and the 4.
.75 laps to go in stage 1. Green flag.
Another great execution on that restart of working together as teammates.
Mikey, just when you're on these restarts, you're going to have some casual contact. You're going to bump somebody in the front, the side, the rear. They're going to bump you. You just got to keep you cool.
Now you can see a little bit of damage to that left front from the contact with the Tim of Almirola, and it is smoking just a little bit. We did hear the 10 did come back down pit road and made a fender clearance.
And Harvick and Truex got together a lap or 2 ago. Had a little more contact. Matt?
Mike, looks just like cosmetic damage. Harvick told Rodney Childers and Timmy Fedewa both that the steering wheel was straight. Did not feel like the toe was knocked out on that Ford.
Yeah, the bulk of that damage, it looks like the nose hit a little bit, but the bulk of it's behind the left front tire, so he should be fine.
Oh, Ryan Blaney got the boot for Martin Truex. Change of position, 4th place. That happened back between turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, Blaney was pretty lucky that Clint Boyer wasn't a little bit closer. He would have been losing multiple positions on that move.
Takes a little luck. You got to kind of be in the right place at the right time. Things happen your way sometimes. You get away with stuff, but sometimes it can be the other way too, disastrous.
Kurt Busch backing up. He was alongside Kyle Larson. Looked like he might gain a spot or 2. But now he's hung on that outside and not moving forward. There goes Allmendinger, and here comes Paul Menard.
Yeah, you can hang on that outside for a few laps, but it's not going to pay off. You've got to get back down on the inside as soon as possible. We see Kurt did finally fall in front of the 21 there, Paul Menard.
And as a driver, when you see somebody stuck in that outside lane, you drive in the corner a little deeper. You get the gas a little earlier. You just want to get your nose in there just the slightest bit to keep them going backwards.
Yeah, you know, it could be your best friend, and you know what you say, Mike? Sucker.
Kevin Harvick has something rubbing. He's reporting a little smoke in the car when he turns in. Yeah. Fastest car on the racetrack right now is Truex. He's caught Keselowski. That'll be for 3rd place if they get to battling. And here's a look at Harvick.
One thing Kevin can't afford is any more contact with anybody else to beat that fender and any closer to that left front.
Yeah, and I think the air pressure, Mike, is so low in the left side tires. Even if you don't have damage, sometimes those tires will rub. We saw that with the left rears, a lot of left rears. So I don't think that's anything to worry about. I don't see any major smoke coming from the car.
Right behind Harvick, Joey Logano.
You can see a little haze of smoke every now and then from the 4 car. I think that'll get better. I think it'll possibly go away.
Turn 4, Bubba Wallace up the racetrack, and he gets into J.J. Yaley. Well, they sorted it all out. I thought we were going to have a caution there.
Here, so I'll get you to the bottom.
Yeah, and he got up out of the groove and got some of that debris from the other tires onto his right side tire, so he just has no grip, or maybe even he has a tire going down.
Yeah, it looked like he may be coming to pit road.
Here's a look at it. Wow.
Oh, yeah, maybe have a flat right rear tire.
Matt?
Mike, that's what Bubba Wallace told his team. I believe I have a flat right front tire on this 43. That's why you saw him start to move to the high sign to save it from going into the fence.
You know, I listened yesterday on Sirius Radio driving over to Virginia International Raceway to watch the sports cars after we got snowed out here. And they had a show on about fantasy racing and how to pick your teams and the values of different drivers. And there was a lot of talk about A.J. Allmendinger and Ty Dillon. They said Ty Dillon among the value drivers, and A.J. Allmendinger and Austin Dillon both having good records here and kind of being, let's say, dark horse picks today. Jamie.
Could be, and Austin Dillon started this race 12th, but then he had those radio issues, and it took not one but 2 pit stops to get it resolved.
Hey, Austin, if you can hear me on 2, the push to talk is by the left side mirror on the roll bar. So do I need to be talking to him on channel 2? Is that what I need to be doing? I have no idea, Andy. He thinks it's on 2, so yes, I would try that.
Spotter Randy Houston.
Well, you want to try to sort that out as much as possible without actually losing time on pit road. If they can figure out how to get radio 2 to work and they have communication, then all is fine. But if they can't get that figured out, they're definitely going to have to come down pit road or on the next caution.
You know, it's one thing tuning your radio on the highway at 70 miles an hour. It's quite another when you're trying to make a U-turn at 70 miles an hour and get back up over to 120 miles an hour.
Mike, you got 800 feet of straightaway. Most straightaways 800 feet long. I mean, you can't do a whole lot in 800 feet. Run 130 mile an hour.
Ryan Newman and Eric Jones. I don't think either of those cars going to have a bumper left at the end of the day.
Yeah, one front and one rear.
Ryan just gave Eric a boot coming out of turn 2, but it did not result in a change of position. We used to call it giving the driver the chrome horn. These cars don't have horns, but they did have chrome bumpers. Well, things are different now.
I like the Morse code. 1 bump, I'm there. 2 bumps, you're in my way. 3 bumps, sorry.
Sounds like the Ted Christopher rule. More on that later. Vince?
Well, a bit of an issue on this last pit stop. The 37 of Chris Buescher pitted just ahead of the 20 of Eric Jones, and it's tight here on pit road. And when Jones came out of his pit box, he clipped Zach Young, the jack man, on the 37, knocked him down. They don't believe the injury to be serious. He walked to the golf cart under his own pressure, under his own ability, but they did take him to the medical center to be checked on. Evan Markle, his fueler on the 47, will come over and jack the 37 moving forward.
Thanks, Vince. Boy, here's a knot of cars.
They are. It looks like they're lined up for a restart. they are, and they are leaning on each other.
McDowell and Dillon, Buescher, Dillon, Almirola. And nobody's giving an inch.
Well, I thought Ty Dillon was going to give a little bit there, and then his brother had other ideas. Drove in there and got in the left rear. Oh,
no,
that's tough if you're Chris Buescher.
Yeah, that's what you'd say. No, I don't think that'll work. Well, maybe no, that ain't going to work either.
Track's just not wide enough for every place they want to race, is it? 76 laps complete. Denny Hamlin out front by nearly half a second. Here's a race recap presented by Ready Player One, in theaters March 29th. Snow on the road means a lot of slip sliding around. Well, they got the snow gone, but there's still been a lot of action in the very close confines of Martinsville and a good bit of contact. At 28 feet wide, it's one of the narrowest pit roads in NASCAR. Second, side by side, here comes Keselowski.
Yeah, he just sailed that thing down in the 3rd turn, got under the 18, and I think he's going to get the position.
Yeah, we've seen these two go to battle here at Martinsville. I mean, when I think of the two that have been so good here in recent years, it's those two on the screen right there, Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch. We saw Brad Keselowski in this race a year ago just stalk Kyle Busch lap after lap after lap, finally able to make that move and win this race a year ago.
I really like the way that 2-car looks. I know he started ragged because he was a little too tight, I think, but I think the track has really come to his liking in the car, and that car is moving up through the field.
And mirroring his performance is this one.
Yeah,
Ryan Blaney.
That's
right
really impressive. This is such a tough racetrack for younger drivers with not a lot of experience. And Ryan Blaney has been so impressive, not just this season and last season even, but this season since he's moved over to Penske. I've been so impressed with the consistency, the fight that he had last week to get back into the top 10 after having some issues, and now here at one of the toughest racetracks, battling with Kyle Busch, one of the best there is here at Martinsville.
See, one thing I like about Blaney, he's going to get better. I don't think he certainly hadn't peaked. He's getting improving every race, improving every year, and he's going to get better, so he's got a great future ahead of him.
Matt?
Used to come up here as a kid to watch his father Dave run for Bill Davis in that 12 car. Now remember, the core group on this 12 were on the 21 last year when they finished 8th last fall. Blaney was saying the car a little bit better on initial takeoff, came to him much faster, but still struggling with a little bit of forward bite, making that pass though on the 18.
Restarted 4th, now 3rd for Blaney. Teammate Keselowski restarted 3rd, now 2nd. Speaking of the 21 of the Wood brothers from nearby Stewart, Virginia, Paul Menard in 13th, locked in a battle with Kyle Larson and Eric Jones.
Boy, I think a guy that I expect a little bit more out of early in this race, that 42 of Kyle Larson. He's just been kind of hanging on. He's taking a lot of shots from different people. Paul Menard here getting ready to close in on his back bumper as well, if there's any back bumper left on that 42 car.
Now remember, a year ago he started on the pole because this qualifying session was rained out a year ago. He was the points leader at that time. He was able to get out front, lead a lot of laps, but he didn't have that long run speed. Was really wearing the left rear tire out, and we're seeing some more of that today.
Yeah, I think we saw that. You're right, last year in the race, and that's how come the 2 car was able to stalk him like he did and eventually get by him and win the race. So you're right.
5th place. Clint Boyer is caught up to Martin Truex.
Yeah, Clint's just steadily marching his way forward. I like the way this car rolls through the center of the corner. He's running much lower than anybody else. Gives Martin Truex Jr. a little nudge. That was that first, what did you call that?
That first one is I'm here.
Yeah.
And that's
all it took for Martin Truex.
I heard that from Dick Trickle back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And then the great modified star that we lost last year in a plane crash, Ted Christopher. 3-tap rule. The third tap, you're going around. In fact, Kevin Harvick has donated an award up at Ted's home track, Stafford Speedway, every week for lap 13 and the 13th place finisher in Christopher's memory as Harvick continues to give back to the short tracks.
Good for him.
A.J. Allmendinger. 8th place, Vince.
Yeah, this has historically been one of his best tracks. 6 top 10s, a couple of runner-up finishes. He's up 17 positions. Started 25th, he's up to 8th. And this is a big weekend for AJ and his sponsor, Kroger. They teamed up here in Martinsville to provide food for the underfed here in this area. It's part of Kroger's initiative, Zero Hunger, Zero Waste. The event was in conjunction with the Salvation Army. Another example of these NASCAR teams doing good in the markets they visit.
Love to see him out there as we try to rebuild this fan base one fan at a time through driver interaction. Kevin Harvick just interacted with Martin Truex.
Yeah, that damage he got on pit road has certainly not hurt his car. He's talking about it smoking a little bit. I think that went away with the pressures coming up. That car looks really good. One of the best cars here in practice when we had practice. Kevin Harvick working his way toward the front.
And unfortunately, one of those that's fading is Martin Truex Jr. I think that they're really having some tough time keeping the rear grip in those tires over the long run.
Hey, traffic. Cole Witt right in front of the race leader. Matt DiBenedetto right in front of him. Brad Keselowski closing in.
Now, each car that you come to lap is a little bit faster race car. Gets a little bit tougher to put them a lap down, and those drivers are going to fight as hard as they can to stay on the lead lap. If they can possibly do that, that pays dividends later, and plus they've got their race. They're racing for position, like Cole Witt with Matt DiBenedetto, so he doesn't want to give an inch, even though these are the leaders.
Yeah, you don't want to get up off the bottom. You know if you do, you might lose more than 1 or 2 spots, so you fight to stay on that bottom, even if it's the leader behind you.
Danny, a little better drive off the corner than Brad. They pull up on DiBenedetto.
Mike, that's his classic Denny Hamlin. I watch him year after year. He doesn't drive the corner. He doesn't drive in the corner real hard. But when he gets center corner off, that car accelerates straight up off a corner.
And that will make it really difficult for the two of Brad Keselowski to actually complete that pass. Jamie?
Yeah, Yeah, what a weekend it's been for Denny Hamlin. As you talked about, Jeff, I talked about, he was not very good in final practice. His crew chief, Mike Wheeler, said they went back to an old setup, a baseline from 2 years ago, but it happened to be what the 18 ran here and won with in the fall, and they liked it. Now they're better than the 18. On that last stop, though, they just made an air pressure adjustment. Denny's been happy with it.
Denny Hamlin's led 74 of 102 laps so far in Martinsville. We're under green, so we're going to take you side by side.
Experience Talladega Superspeedway differently this year with the Kids VIP experience. Your kids can go behind the scenes, take a hot lap, a guided garage tour, or pose for a photo in Victory Lane. This is more than a race. This is Talladega.
This is power. This is tradition. This is Talladega. The biggest party in NASCAR returns April 27th through 29th.
Spring is coming. Enjoy the season with a great deal on a new Toyota. Like low APR financing on the technology-loaded Corolla, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Tundra, and more.
I'm rebuilding the deck?
Yep.
Okay.
Right now, start your spring with great savings on an incredible selection of our most popular models. Offers end April 2nd. For great deals on other Toyotas, visit Toyota.com.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
My burger goes best with mustard.
Ketchup and mustard.
Grass-fed beef. No, corn-fed. On the grill.
Now, flat top.
Iceberg lettuce.
Nah,
arugula. Jalapeno.
No way. Avocado, dude.
Medium rare.
Gotta be well done.
Brioche.
Sesame seeds.
American cheese. Cheddar.
Can I have a turkey burger? What? Turkeys are for Thanksgiving, man. I like my burger with the Coke.
I'll agree to that.
Strictly with the Coke.
Only with the Coke.
Coke and a burger. Come on.
All right.
That's where you get the flavor.
Things can get rough out there.
The bumper to the back of the 24.
You think you got the brass?
I proved it last season.
That was last year. Now we've got young blood ready to take out the old. Start your engines. It's time to race.
This season, who will rise to the top?
Welcome back to Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Racing from Martinsville, where Denny Hamlin is trying to hold back Brad Keselowski and Brad's teammate Ryan Blaney. 4 Fords, 2 Toyotas in the top half dozen.
See, Mike, here's another way to watch a driver and how disciplined he is. Somebody gets on your back bumper, you start jumping in the throttle, getting the car a little loose and sideways off the corner. Hamlin, he's got a style. He just stays and does the same thing over and over again. If you can get by me with doing my thing, go ahead, but this is what I do.
Well, Brad Keselowski's style is, I'm going to carry a ton of speed into the corner and get all over your rear bumper, make you start thinking about what I'm doing back here instead of what you're doing.
I tell you, Brad, that one getaway here a year ago when he started late in the race, he had a restart and he took the outside lane. I never knew why, I never even asked him, but I was surprised when he did it and it beat him.
Just lap past Canadian DJ Kennington, who's been known to drive a slow snowplow a time or two. Probably had a ball here yesterday. All right, 7 laps to see who gets the stage win and the playoff point here.
Well, and I think that's why Brad's put so much pressure on Denny Hamlin. You know, he knows how important those playoff points were for Mark Truex Jr. last year, and he wants to get every one of them he can possibly get.
You ever driven a snowplow?
No, I haven't.
It's easy. You just line up the left side and listen for the right.
I've driven a lot of dump trucks, but not a lot of snowplows.
Some of them on a racetrack.
That's right.
Joey Logano has slid back to 10th, trying to hold on to the final stage point. Jimmy Johnson behind J.J. Yaley, who's doing a nice job in the 0-0 today. Or Landon Castle, rather, in the 0-0. J.J. Yaley's actually a couple spots ahead of him in 30th. in the 55
look at this
today.
run by A.J. Allmendinger. Doing a great job. I mean, we've seen him have some great performances here at Martinsville, but I mean, he's passing our defending champion, Martin Truex Jr. right now.
It just seems like I've heard this time and time again. I never really thought if they applied or not. I've heard road racers really run well at this racetrack, and AJ is an extraordinarily good road racer, so it must be some truth to that. I think it's the braking thing. They're out to coordinating the gas and the brake and everything, getting in the corner. I think that's what he's really good at.
Yeah, trying to get these big, heavy, high-powered stock cars slowed down at this paperclip. It does remind me of a road course. I think of like a turn 11 at Sonoma, minus the downshifting, but the way you set the nose and get on the brakes and then modulate that brake as you get to the center of the corner, it really is like braking on a road course.
Vince?
You know, the A.J. Allmendinger you guys were talking about, road course, that's where he has his only career win. Go back to Watkins Glen, and they really need the kind of run they're having today. Only one top 20 finish this season. A.J. loved the car the first run, said it's a little loose in and loose off with some tightness in the center right now, but otherwise pretty good as you see the challenge for the lead.
Well, his teammates just ahead of the two leaders, Chris Buescher. Somebody's going to have to pick a lane here. Keselowski had the inside, but could not wrest the lead from Denny Hamlin. Buescher's not giving those leaders a whole lot of room there.
I thought that the 2 was going to use that 37 car as a pick, but it didn't quite work out. Hamlin had different ideas.
Well, and that's the strength of the 11's drive off. He can get the car pointed straight up off the corner and get that great launch up off the corner. And even though Keselowski had position on him and had the lap car as a pick, just couldn't quite get the grip up off the corner.
And you can't blame Buescher in the Busch's car. That's a mouthful in more ways than one as they trade a little paint, because he's trying to stay on the lead lap with just a couple of laps to go in the stage.
Exactly, with just a couple laps. He does not want to be the free pass car. He wants to be the last car on the lead lap, so he's going to fight for this.
So Buescher does go a lap down with 8 to go in the stage. Now Keselowski moves underneath Austin Dillon, the next car ahead.
Mike, it just shows how hard it is to pass. Even if a car that you're trying to get around, you're quicker than they are, you've got to get them set up and get them in the right spot to get by.
9th place here, Logano underneath Truex. And here comes Johnson. Matt?
Mike, in the run of the competition caution, Truex dropped from 1st to 5th. They made an air pressure change because he was losing so much time on corner exit because the car was so free. It hasn't improved. Now it's horrible, he says. It's on the splitter, and he's just spinning those tires on exit.
Wow.
But, you know, that's kind of good news. You did something, you went the wrong way, we'll undo it, and we'll be back where we were. So that maybe that's not such a bad thing for them for later in the day.
Wow, Denny Hamlin's got some work to do to get through this traffic in the final 5 laps of stage 1. Last playoff point at stake, or rather last point in the stage at stake on the right of your screen.
But I'm telling you, there's 3 or 4 cars right there that would all like to win this stage if they could. Levin's got his hands full with the 2 and the 12. The 12's looking in here to see if he can get be a player.
Yeah, Blaney's keeping an eye on these 2 guys. If they make contact or get messing around here, he could go right by him and steal that playoff point.
And Austin Dillon's not that much slower than the leaders. He's got to give ground, though, with the passing flag out for the number 3.
I think Brad, though, is using a lot of good judgment here, Mike. I mean, we're just talking about a stage win. We got a long way to go in this race. Don't tear the front end up, knock the car out, or make Denny Hamlin mad at this point.
And
got
again,
a long way to go.
And as we just saw, Hamlin's got really good drive off the corner even this late in the run.
But it sure is fun to watch. These stage, having these stage breaks.
Jamie McMurray next ahead for the leader.
Yeah, no slouch here at Martinsville either. Jamie McMurray started pretty far back. Just trying to stay on that lead lap here.
Brad Keselowski won both the stages here last fall, finished 4th.
You can see right there how much Jamie McMurray's really. Oh!
And they get into the 51, who goes way up the racetrack. Harrison Rhodes and fortunately out of harm's way, because they were coming.
Yeah, I think the rear tires are just shot on all these drivers, especially the one in McMurray.
Denny Hamlin wins stage 1 from Keselowski, Blaney, Kyle Busch, and Bowyer. 5th stage win of his career and first on a short track for Denny Hamlin.
Chevy, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall.
133 laps complete. Austin Dillon has made a stop for radio issues before pit road was opened. Bubba Wallace went to the garage to replace, I believe, a sway bar link that had become damaged when he cut down that tire earlier. He's now back out on the racetrack, and pit road should open this time around. Earlier, a crewman was injured on Chris Buescher's car, and there is no vehicle tunnel at Martinsville Speedway. There is now a walk-through tunnel, but to take that crewman for treatment at a local hospital, they have opened the crossover gate at turn 4. That's why pit road is still closed. Denny Hamlin has led 106 of 134 laps.
It's a pretty steamy ride he's got today, but that 2 car is wearing him out.
Just had our first Martinsville hot dog of the day. And if you've been following Eddie Gossage and Texas Motor Speedway on social media, there are a lot of things you can win depending on what happens when in the broadcast, in the telecast today. So hope you're playing along. I don't have the list in front of me, and I don't want it, but I know Eddie has about 400 tickets and passes to give away based on things like the first mention of the $2 loaded. Once again, the original Jesse Jones Frank that's in the Martinsville hot dog. There you go.
I know the grandfather clock is another, so there you go, Eddie.
Brakes.
Pit road is now open. Here's Vince.
Well, 3 Stewart-Haas cars are in the top 10. The best of them is Clint Bowyer pitting from the 5th position. They're pretty good. He said, I just need a little bit better drive off with that right rear. 4 tire change, going to make a chassis adjustment on the 14 as well. Jamie?
Denny Hamlin in the 11 said he's good in the center and has really good drive off, as you guys have noted. A 4 tire stop. Brad Keselowski in the 2 says he needs some of that drive off. Air pressure adjustment in the rears. Matt?
Ryan Blaney felt like the 2 car, Keselowski held him up. He could have gained more time if he'd had fresh air. Very subtle change air pressure wise on that 12 car. Just a tick free on exit.
And here comes Ryan Blaney.
Wow.
Winning the race off pit road.
What a stop.
I say we dial up our stage 1 winner. Hey, Denny, this is Jeff up in the FS1 booth. You got me?
Cleanup truck sitting up top here in 4.
1 second here. Hey, Denny, this is Jeff up in the FS1 booth. You got me?
10-4.
Well, congrats, man, on that stage 1 win. Boy, that's the Denny Hamlin that I remember racing against. That car looks like it's just launching up off the corners. What kind of challenges are you facing on these longer runs that you think you're going to have to deal with to win this race?
I think, it's a balance. I wish I could get off the corner even better. And doing that without hurting the center is going to be important. I think our center has been our strong suit. So we got to keep that in the car and adjust as the track adjusts.
All right, well, good luck with that. Thanks for talking to us.
10-4.
Ryan Blaney, who won the Sunoco's race off pit road. First time he's led here at Martinsville. Denny Hamlin, our stage 1 winner. Before we restart, Larry goes in the pit with RCR, presented by eBay Motors.
You know, Mike, we talk about brake kit here, and you have a brake blower on all 4 corners of the race car. You also have blowers to keep the air pressure mandated in the tires, but sometimes you can use it as a tuning tool by cutting one off or cutting another one on.
Though the season takes us coast to coast, I'm always just one click away from the parts I need with eBay Motors.
Yeah, for example, if the car is loose, you can cut that right front tire blower off and then let that air pressure come up and tighten that car up. So not only to keep the tires cool, but to help the handling of the race car as well, Mike.
Thanks, Larry. On the restart, Ryan Blaney. Denny Hamlin take the green with Keselowski and Kyle Busch right behind them.
Well, this could get pretty interesting here. Both Joe Gibbs Racing teammates on the outside. Boy, look at the job Hamlin's doing, trying to get that lead from Ryan Blaney.
That launch off the corner that Denny talked about and we've observed.
Wow, that was impressive.
That really helps him so much, whether he's on the inside or the outside. He can just get back to the gas a little quicker, get a little advantage.
What impressed me so much about that is typically if you have a car that drives off the corner good, you're really tight in the center. But yet he was able to get a turn, but Blaney's not giving up.
No. Hamlin could not come down in turn 3. Blaney was there. So Blaney's good on entry. Hamlin's good on exit.
But see, Mike, that's what I love about a young guy like Blaney. He will fight you every lap of this race.
He's there this time.
Now who's got the drive off?
Drag race.
Well, and that's what impressed me so much about Hamlin. I thought on the outside lane, I didn't think he could get the car rotated and have that drive off at the same time, but he showed he really had it.
Right there in 1 and 2, Hamlin rolled the corner better. That was the difference, but Blaney comes right back dead even.
Yeah, Mike, and again, it takes so much skill for Ryan Blaney to run on the inside of Denny Hamlin and not slide up into him and mess them both up. He really has to work hard to keep that car off of the 11.
Right there, and I know it's a little early. I don't know if I'd be quite that nice. I'd just move him up just a little bit, but he didn't have to. He did a great job making that pass on Denny Hamlin.
146 laps. We got a long way to go, brother.
Now on that caution flag, as things settle down a little here, Jamie McMurray got the free pass. Casey Kane was too fast exiting. Chris Buescher, too many men over the wall, and Austin Dillon too fast entering the pit road. Those were the penalties.
Who says you can't go 3 wide here at Martinsville? I just saw Kyle Larson do it into turn 1. I think he was underneath David Reagan.
And Mike, what you have to be careful of in situations like this, don't beat the nose up on the car, because that's where for your radiator, your brake ducts, your car depends on those ducts to be open. You beat that nose shut, you're going to burn something up.
Ooh, quite a battle going on here with Alex Bowman and Kyle Larson.
18th place. Larson takes it. Looks like they have tuned his car up on the pit stop.
Yeah, those 4 tires that make all these cars feel good for a little while. I just think it'll be interesting to see if Larson can get some speed that he can maintain in that car. He just has a lot of trouble keeping up.
And something else we're going to be following is Ken Martin-Truex Jr. and Cole Pearn. Can they make some adjustments? It's hard to make the adjustments and make those rear tires last longer. You can do a little bit as a driver, a little bit with air pressure, some other minor adjustments. But if you don't have the rear drive that's holding those tires on for the long runs, boy, that makes for a tough, long day here at Martinsville.
And Mike, you won't believe this. It's something that blows my mind. You know how much air they run in the left rear tire when they go out of the pit? 8-9 pounds. That's why they're all wrinkled. Those sidewalls are so wrinkled because there's no air in that tire to start a run. It builds up. It probably builds up to what? Larry, I hate to put you on the spot, but you know what the buildup is in the tires?
Yeah, Daryl, on the left side, it can build up to about 13 or 14 pounds. In the right side, it can gain up to close to 20 PSI over the course of a long run.
Yeah, I asked you because I knew you were down there with the 31 car this week, and I know y'all did. You got a few numbers to look at, so thank you.
So, you know, we talked to Denny Hamlin there as that stage 1 winner, and he made an interesting comment to me about they want a little bit better drive off. So I'm pretty sure he communicated that to Mike Wheeler. They probably made a slight adjustment. He might give up a little speed here at the beginning of the run. I'm curious to see if that drive off gets better with those adjustments, or did they just make it tighter in the center of the corner that's hurting him early.
While Ryan Blaney is driving away, let's check with Jamie.
Well, Mike, I'm in the 19 pit box for Daniel Suarez, and we walked by, and the team stopped me and said, look at this. The rear changer, when he made that last change on the last stop, his gun completely snapped in half. He was able to complete that stop. We've heard about some gun issues. This is the first time we've seen one this extreme.
That's just
wow. That's extreme.
The frustration these teams have, and we got a battle here for second place, pretty darn good one too, between the 11 and the 2. But the problem the teams have with the air guns is they can't fix anything. That gun is assigned to them, and they don't have any control over quality control, I guess you'd say.
Well, because a few teams were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on air guns, other teams, a group of them, asked NASCAR, please give us a spec air gun, even if NASCAR has to parcel them out to the teams every week so that we can all have the same and stop this arms race. That's what happened, and there have been teething problems like you just saw. That's the highest Chase Elliott's been all day, battling for 10th with A.J. Allmendinger and Paul Menard. Vince?
Well, Chase Elliott started 21st, but Alan Gustafson, the crew chief, told me before the race, he said, I'm not really worried about where we're starting. It's a long race, and we've had a really good car. Might take us a little while, but I'm confident we can get up there and be a player when it's all said and done. And it's been a methodical progression, but definitely a progression for the 9 of Chase Elliott.
All right, we'll watch for that as Brad Keselowski flexes his muscle, takes Kyle Busch along with him past Denny Hamlin for second.
Mike, I don't know what they did to the 11 car on that pit stop. They made a minor adjustment, I'm sure. It doesn't take much to throw a car off, but that 11's not near as good as he was earlier in this race. He's falling back now in the grasp of a bunch of these guys.
And you can see how much darker that middle groove is getting from the right side. Goodyear tires laying rubber into this racetrack too. That's going to change the balance of these race cars as the race goes on.
We're told all they did on Hamlin's car was an air pressure adjustment.
And I'll be curious to watch this run, how it plays out. He might be much better on the longer runs because of that air pressure adjustment, but certainly on the shorter run, they're paying a penalty right now.
And then you never know what the team's doing. Like, they might say, we want to try something here. Maybe it worked, maybe it don't. We'll know what to do next time. So just never know.
Clint Bowyer moves up to 4th. We asked him in the offseason about when he knew he'd made it as a NASCAR driver.
Man, I've done it. I'm a NASCAR driver. It's what I wanted to do since I was little. I mean, this is like literally winning the lottery, dream come true level stuff right here. It just doesn't happen every day, and I know that, and I'm fortunate enough to be a part of an amazing world.
It's one fellow who's living the dream.
Yeah, it's great to see somebody like Clint Bowyer, who's a hard-working race car driver, really appreciates, you know, his path to get here, and he deserves to be here. He's an excellent race car driver and has a lot of personality.
I think that's the thing about it. It just has such a great personality, but he's a fiery. He'll fight you too.
Huh?
Well, Stuart Haas yesterday had a chance for both teams to score a whole lot of points in the Formula One race. That came undone, but not so today. In this NASCAR race, they're all up among the front runners. Matt.
And Mike, they are certainly making improvements on the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Earlier in the race, he said he could simply just touch the gas and the car would over-rotate just trying to hang on to it. Several different adjustments. He says still on the free side, but it is certainly much better in settling in, running 8th.
Riding with Allmendinger, just behind Logano. Allmendinger 10th.
Well, I don't know what adjustments they made to Mark Truex Jr.'s car, just a couple of cars ahead of this battle that you're seeing, but right there beside Kevin Harvick. But the rear tires have just, it's like a switch was flipped. All of a sudden, he's completely sideways and has no grip on the exits, losing a lot of positions.
Yeah, you know you're in trouble when you move up the hill and let people go by. You don't put up a fight, so he knows he got to work on something.
Take a look at Martin's last 15 races. Been a pretty impressive couple of months as Joey Logano pulls alongside. So average finish of 5th over 15 races.
Yeah, so that goes back to the beginning of the playoffs in 2017. I mean, those are incredibly impressive numbers. An average of 5th place over those 15 races. Matt, you have more to add?
Well, you talked about how the car has really come to life, and on that last stop, they talked about making a much more significant adjustment on that 78, and they did, shuffling the air pressures again, and he was simply told, you are going to have to be patient. Cole said, just hang with us. We'll just keep taking swings at it as we go.
Ryan Blaney has now led 30 laps. First time he's ever led at Martinsville. He's going to make it memorable. .177 laps complete at Martinsville, 47, working 49 now out of the 130 lap stage 2 with Ryan Blaney out front by a full second. Martin Truex Jr. having issues, and A.J. Allmendinger got a piece of him while we were in break here.
Well, as if his car wasn't loose enough, this didn't help him out a whole lot. Looks like it really looks to me like A.J. maybe just drove into the corner a little deeper than he anticipated, because they're both up the racetrack. I think Truex is actually going to let him go.
Ooh, that's for 9th place. And here's AJ's radio after that.
I had to go. Yeah, 10-4, I hear you. From my view, everything looks good, Ernie. If anything, maybe like right below the right headlights where he hit the hardest if you look at pictures. Yeah, we're just looking at it. It's fine. Might be a little hole in the nose, which won't hurt nothing if we get here on that tire.
Okay, I take it back. He was just ready to go.
Well, but here's what. So Martin's struggling with his car. So he's got his hands full with his car. And then here comes A.J. Allmendinger and runs into him. It's just one of those little things that set you off. It makes you lose your cool. And that's something you really got to work hard on here, is to keep your emotions in check. You can't fight every fight.
Chase Elliott on the high side of Kyle Larson. Paul Menard right there. Two pretty even Chevrolets dueling it out.
We'd see where Chase Elliott was starting to make some ground, get further up into the running order. And then he was battling with Truex, actually, when all that was going on with Allmendinger. But since then, he got stuck in the outside lane and has started falling back.
15th place, Eric Jones, last year's Rookie of the Year. And Alex Bowman.
You know, I think back to when I drove this 88 car here at Martinsville, and last year I spent some time with Alex Bowman, as he was also filling in for Dale Jr. back in 16. And one of the things that Alex does so well is drive the simulator. He was the designated simulator driver for Chevrolet before he took over this ride. And I went to the simulator and we made laps together here at Martinsville. I'm telling you, I don't know anybody makes as fast a lap times on the simulator as Alex Bowman does.
Well, let's hear Alex's thoughts on racing Jeff Gordon on the simulator.
I think the biggest difference between the simulator and the real Martinsville is the fact that it actually hurts when you hit the wall here. You know, you can get away with a lot in the simulator that you can't get away with at the real racetrack. A little over a year ago, ran head-to-head with Jeff Gordon in the simulator here, and went a little bit faster than him, but that was my job at the time, was to go faster than him. So I was just fighting for job security there.
And he did a good job.
That worked out. Yeah, that worked out. All right, Ryan Blaney 1.4 up on Brad Keselowski. Bowyer now in third, 2.2 back. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin. I'd say that worked out okay for both of you, really. Right?
I like where I'm standing these days. He likes where he's sitting.
Pretty smart kid. He knows you don't want to hit the wall. He knows it hurts.
Well, and I will say that in that simulator, he went real fast and he did hit a few things.
But you can just hit reset and start all over again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Vince.
Well, Bowman has spent a lot of time in the simulator, but he hasn't spent much time here at Martinsville itself. He hasn't raced here since 2015. This weekend, they showed up identical to the 9 and the 48 of Chase Elliott and Jimmy Johnson setup-wise, so Alex would have Chase and Jimmy to lean on, and they feel like it's been a pretty good weekend for him. Alex said that first run, he just needed more drive off. They made an air pressure adjustment, and he liked it better since then.
Yeah, I think that Jimmy's running 11th right now, and Chase 14th, and the 88 15th. So they lack a little something.
All right, Ryan Blaney continues to lead by 1.4 seconds. How about another quick word from Dewey and Mountain Dew?
Wedge is a salad often on menus with Caesar and Waldorf.
I am not even going to ask Larry Mack to react to that one.
I have no reaction.
At least he didn't say wedgie. So what's he want when he wants a wedge adjustment? More dressing? Good grief.
Give that boy another Mountain Dew.
More blue cheese crumbles. There you go. Matt?
Mike, Jeremy Bowens told me that when you look at Ryan Blaney's steady progress here at Martinsville, dating back to their time with the Root Brothers, it's been very impressive. Ran up front last fall, finished top 10. He said he really noticed the difference when Ryan started having fun here. And you have to be able to adapt. And when you're having fun mentally, it's all about the approach that you have here. And that's certainly why he is starting to yard the competition. He also mentioned Eddie Gossage's promotion. If you're a Ryan Blaney fan, you don't want to see one of those, which is the first time the race leader is spun out.
Blaney with a good cushion to second place. Several lap cars in between he and Brad Keselowski. And Clint Bowyer now stalking second place.
Yeah, I've been watching Clint Bowyer. You saw right there how good his car cuts the middle of the corner. Brad Keselowski has no answer for that. And I'm just so impressed with the way that 14 car is just rolling through the center of the corner, but not giving up a lot on drive off. Vince, you have more?
Here, they felt like this was the best car that they've ever had here at Martinsville, and Clint was in a very good mood before the race, very optimistic about what they have today. And I think the biggest thing, if you look at the big picture of their season, they've really taken a step forward. It's the second year working with crew chief Mike Beggar-Ravage. They understand one another a little bit better. They have a better notebook together, and they believe this is the year they're going to make a significant step forward. And they've certainly been off to a good start this season, but by far and away their best effort here today.
Oh, yeah, those Stewart-Haas cars, I mean, from the beginning of the season, they've been the guys to beat just about every week up until last week. So, yeah, he's in a great spot right now.
Yeah, and that last lap, he was even with our leader's lap time of Ryan Blaney.
We're a little more than halfway through stage 2. There's the Stewart-Haas running order.
And you know what I like, Mike? I haven't heard anybody talk about aero.
Aero push.
No aero push, no aero anything.
Maybe at Texas in 2 weeks. We'll see. Coming up on 200 laps at Martinsville, and Ryan Blaney is extending his lead. It's now a little over 2 seconds over Clint Bowyer. Oh, Michael. You know, that's the great thing about coming to Martinsville. It's like going to Fenway Park or Wrigley Field or Lambeau Field. All the action is right in front of you. Welcome back to Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing from Martinsville. 207 of 500 laps complete. 1,000 corners is the battle here today. And Ryan Blaney here in stage 2. Working traffic, but holding a strong lead. Michael's up there in the spotter stand. We've got some spotter audio on Kyle Busch from Tony Hirschman III.
You want lap times here or no? 07. It makes you feel better. I'd hate to be the one doing all the work. Makes me feel like I'm doing some 21, 24. Yeah, at least I got you out of your office on a Monday.
Crew Chief Adam Stevens. Yep, got him out of the office. And here we are.
But see, Mike, that's what I love about short track racing. It's intense, very competitive, but it's a little bit lighthearted too. I mean, we're not going 200 miles an hour here, so you got this thing under control, and I like that.
All right. Jimmy Johnson, 10th place. Jamie?
And this battle for 10th has been heating up for just a little bit, and the 48 just got around the 78. He told me before the race he was pretty happy with his car on Saturday. Short run speed, not so much, but long run, they felt like they were in the ballpark. And so far in this race, he's had a tire shake, saying that is the worst of his issues, but they have improved the rear grip. They made a wedge adjustment on the last stop, so it's getting a little bit better as he's in the top 10 for the first time.
Yeah, that tire shake could be a couple of things. Sometimes these tires will spin on the wheel because those low air pressures and the amount of drive in those rear tires as they plant those rear tires into the ground to launch up off these corners, and that can get the wheel a little bit out of balance. Also, the brakes. You know, when you use the brakes here, especially on a cool day like today, can get a lot of pad buildup into those rotors that creates a big vibration in the steering wheel and in the brake pedal.
Remember, we saw that on the 42 car, I think it was at Phoenix. Remember how his right rear was vibrating? Don't know if it's that violent or not, but it sounds similar situation.
Michael McDowell trying to create some space between he and the 3 of Austin Dillon so that then Ryan Blaney can complete that pass back at 3rd place. You're just always in traffic here. There's no way to avoid it. Greg Gaulding just came out of the pits. 13 laps down as Kyle Busch battles Brad Keselowski, and just ahead of them David Reagan, who is 2 laps down.
And we talk about getting into a rhythm at this racetrack. The laps just start to click by, but every time you battle with somebody, it takes you a little bit out of your rhythm, and you've got to recapture that as fast as you can to start getting those consistent lap times laid down.
Yeah, as the tires wear off, then your rhythm changes a little bit. You know, you're hitting it pretty hard there when the tires are nice and fresh. But then you've got to really control yourself and not get all excited because you have to work the car a little bit different.
Well, these two have been the cars to beat here over the last several races. Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. First, second, fifth, and first and fourth. Kyle's led 458 laps in the 2 races here last year with finishes of second and first.
Those are very impressive numbers, but they've got company this weekend here. Not only Ryan Blaney, who's been out front controlling this race, but that 2nd place runner right now, Clint Bowyer's creeping ever so close to the 12 of Ryan Blaney.
I watched lap times a lot, and a 21:30 last time on Blaney, and a 21:15 on the 14 car, so he's coming.
Big day so far for Stewart-Haas, led by Bowyer, currently in 2nd, Matt.
Mike, last year Stewart-Haas Racing's transition to Ford was made much easier by their old school racing culture with present and past hires, including modified legend Reggie Ruggiero. Reggie's well known for his impressive car building talent besides behind the wheel. He moved south about a year ago to be closer to his grandkids. Now he's an important part of the Fab team at Stewart-Haas. The Reg, he won just about everything, everywhere. Hard to find someone tougher, including 4 grandfather clocks. And by the way, Mike, you look really good. Really young there in the right-hand corner of the screen.
Well, that was only, what, 30 years ago, maybe more.
Boy, but
the Reg, I'll tell you, he #2 all-time modified tour winner. And again, great fabricator, as Matt said. He and Ed Flemke Jr. had Raceworks, built a lot of race cars that won.
What a great addition to Stewart-Haas Racing to be able to bring Reggie Ruggiero. I mean, when I think of short track modified racers and fast race cars, I think of Reggie Ruggiero. And I really do think that's contributing to some of their great success we're seeing here today on this short track here at Martinsville.
See, a lot of that I give Tony Stewart credit for, because Tony is out and about. He runs all these short tracks. He knows who's good. He knows who's talented. They've hired a lot of those people.
All right, the numbers aside, since Clint Bowyer last won a race, every driver currently in the top 10 in this race has been to victory lane.
Wow.
Well, that either gets you really frustrated or highly motivated.
I'm going for highly motivated. Vince?
I had to laugh. I was talking to Clint before the race, and we were talking about how long it's been since he won and the condition they felt like, how good their car was coming into today. And he said, if we win this race today, you might not be able to still find me when we go to Texas in a couple of weeks.
Oh, he knows how to have a good time, especially to celebrate a win.
.37 to go in stage 2 here at Martinsville. Ryan Blaney's lead is cut to 0.6 of a second. We'll take you side by side.
Best tailgate, brisket.
No, real football y pollo asado.
Hoops and wings. Dude, subs.
Hot dog.
Chili dog.
No, Dodger dog.
It's gotta be crawfish.
Now you're talking. Burgers.
7-layer dip. Ribs. No contest.
Hummus.
What?
You need a hot grill.
And an ice cold Coke.
Of course.
Football and Coke. Come on.
It's got to be Coke.
Game day. Race day.
Calls for Coke. You know it.
Grab yourself a Coke.
It's Tailgating 101.
They live among us, but they say they're different. They say they can do extraordinary things, like defy gravity and deny the path of a rocket. They can move in the blink of an eye. And when they strike, thunder echoes out, unleashing a deafening roar. The supernatural have returned. Astros Rangers, followed by Brewers Padres. Saturday on FS1.
When the sun goes down, the NASCAR stars come out.
Green flag, green flag, green flag. 748.
The spring race weekend at Richmond Raceway, back under the lights. April 20th and 21st. The Toyota Care 250 on Friday and Saturday night's Toyota Owners 400. Get your tickets at richmondraceway.com.
Right rear, guys. Right rear. We're going to be there. Bring that thing to the house. Second fly, baby.
NASCAR in Richmond. Some things are better under the lights.
Ryan Blaney had work to do to get past the 31. But he did make it past Ryan Newman, who used to drive a number 12 for Roger Penske. Now, Clint Bowyer. I guess if this was Major League Baseball, Joe Buck would be calling Ryan Newman a tough out. Tough guy to get out.
He
right?
is. He doesn't give you anything. You're going to earn it.
Yeah.
And you know what, Mike, I like about Ryan Newman? He owns that. He makes no excuses. That's who I am. That's how I race. Deal with it.
Ryan Newman's part of our Coca-Cola Racing family. Let's see how they're faring. Denny Hamlin 5th, Joey Logano 9th, Kyle Larson 12th, and Suarez still on the lead lap. Newman just went a lap down. Austin Dillon and Darrell Wallace, who spent a long time in the garage making repairs.
And back to Newman, that's old school racing. I mean, that's the way we raced back in the day. You know, you didn't give anybody anything. Because you're faster than I am or thought you think you're better than I am, we don't move over out of your way. No. You got to get around me the best way you can.
How about J.J. Yaley in that 55? He's given that car a good ride today, right behind Clint Bowyer, a rather unique sponsor. Adirondack Tree Surgeons in Saratoga, New York. It's a nice little racetrack there, Malta, at Albany, Saratoga. I need to call them. A little help with this oak tree. It won't drop its leaves. Last year's leaves. What do you do about that?
You call Adirondack.
Yeah.
Who are you going to call?
Beautiful area up there in the Adirondacks.
Yep. Paul Menard's been working hard on Jimmy Johnson, who does not want to relinquish 10th spot. With 26 to go in the stage. Casey Kane just ahead.
But you know, that's how you have to race Martinsville. I mean, you think about this. Jimmy Johnson, he started, what, I think 18th? He's now in the top 10. It's taken him 235 laps to get into the top 10. So if you're going to have any chance of winning this race or getting in the top 5, you've got to continue to progress throughout this race. But it could take all of 500 laps to get that done.
Patience. Well, Martin Truex Jr. started on pole, restarted 9th after stage 1. Now they are 13th, and they're talking tires.
I ain't gonna have no tires left on the back of the seat. I know, 10-4. We're out of plan. We just gotta make it there. I know, Buzz. I'm trying, man. Give me all I got every lap. We know it. Just relay your water plan.
I've been there. And it, you know, just once those rear tires start to go off and you wear them out, it feels like you're absolutely on ice. It feels like they're down to the cords. You're doing everything you can to drive the car straight in the corner, get it turned and rotated, drive straight up off the corner. But it just, you know, when it goes away in a hurry.
All right, Darrell, traffic right ahead of the leader. Does this make an opportunity for Bowyer?
Well, I think it may, but I also think that Blaney, when Bowyer caught Blaney picked the pace up a little bit. He picked up a 10th or 2 on the clock here, and he's been able to maintain the lead. So I'm not sure if he just said, wait till somebody catches me, and then I'll go as hard as I need to keep them behind me. But I think that's what happened with that 12 car. He just let him catch up. Now he's going to hold him at bay.
Well, and he's the leader, right? So he's the first one to get to some of these lap cars, and those lap cars are all going to battle him. Whoa, little contact between Suarez and Blaney. They're going to fight him a lot harder than they're going to fight Clint Bowyer in second place. So it's always going to cost him a little bit more time. Seems like as the 12 of Blaney clears the lap traffic, then he's able to pull Clint Bowyer just a little bit.
Let's have a look at that contact from a different angle here.
He's coming up off the corner, and just you need the whole racetrack. Car pushes out a little bit, gets into Suarez, gets him a little bit loose.
And
able to move on
Suarez
by.
was holding him pretty tight off of that corner also.
Matt?
Mike, Ryan Blaney's been very calm and quiet on the radio. In fact, the only thing he's really said over the past 30 or so laps, he was asking his spotter, Josh Williams, whose grandfather used to be the general manager here at Martinsville Speedway, what line the 14 of Bowyer was running. Josh responded with a couple of different quick comments, and he's just been motoring on.
Mike, one thing, back real quick to the Martin Truex radio conversation we heard. It is almost like they were questioning him. Are you driving as hard as you can? And let me tell you why. Because every now and then you'll hit a perfect lap. You'll get in a corner, you get back in the gas, the car goes, and you run a really good lap time. That confuses a crew chief. If you can run that fast one lap, I can run that fast every lap. But you just can't make it happen every lap when the car is not exactly right.
17 to go in stage 2. And Ryan Blaney has been out front now twice for a total of 105 laps.
I also think we're watching the leaders here. I think that 14 of Bowyer, he may have used up a lot of his stuff chasing down Blaney. Because once he got there, I don't know if Blaney looked in his mirror and said, no, I can go a little quicker, or if Bowyer actually used his stuff up. But they've equalized pretty good right now at the front.
Fourth place got interesting. Half a lap ago, Denny Hamlin gave Brad a shot. That was, ding dong, I'm here. Okay.
As long as you don't hear a sorry, it's okay.
Yeah, right. Right. It was just a little tap into the corner saying, right this moment, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Be curious to see what Denny Hamlin and Mike Wheeler do as an adjustment when this stage is over. They definitely fell off on this run. And, I think they might be able to make an adjustment, have a good pit stop, and get right back in the middle of it.
We were told they just did air pressure between stage 1 and stage 2. This has been quite a battle, and Menard has not been afraid to use his bumper on Jimmy Johnson, Matt.
Impressive day, impressive start to the season for Paul Menard, taking over that 21 car. Working on a great run here on the 48, trying to size him up. Basically, the best part of the run for Paul Menard is right about now in the middle of the run. That's where he has the most strength. Then he starts to slowly lose the exit, already planning what adjustments to make at the end of the stage.
Mike, I mentioned this the other day in practice. I really think that the fuel injection system we run on these cars has been a great equalizer. It used to be a wrap on the Ford that it wouldn't accelerate up off the corner on these short tracks, and Chevrolet had a huge advantage, really quick accelerating. But I think this fuel injection system that we use now, I think it's made all the cars the same. They all accelerate the same. They all run about the same engine-wise. That's one of those he's looking.
Yeah, he's there.
He's there.
Fourth place. 10 to go in stage 2.
And this is where Brad Keselowski can make Denny Hamlin's life pretty tough, because that outside groove, you can just carry a little more momentum off the exit, even though that's not the preferred lane as the bottom, but that exit can just continue to make it difficult for that car to complete the pass.
And Jeff, it's just so annoying. You're quicker than him. If you could just get position on him and get by him, you'd run off and leave him, but you can't.
And a lot of times that's why the bumper is necessary. When somebody fights you like that, you eventually start using the bumper. Jamie?
And Brad Keselowski said he just can't get it to roll like he wants to. He's trying to use that track bar, but if he goes up on it, he gets too loose and he loses that drive off, especially because the 11 is breathing down his neck. And his crew chief, Paul Wolf, had told me, usually at this time of the year, we have a win. So our goal today, we can't force anything. Let's just be patient and let this race come to us.
Chase Elliott just went a lap down. He's the 16th place car. Only 7 laps to go in the stage, and it's unlikely that Ryan Blaney will get to Alex Bowman, who is the last car on the lead lap. Certainly that's what Elliott hopes.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what Chase Elliott is hoping for.
I think that's what they maybe even planned on, but they didn't put up a lot of fight. I mean, it's not that like the car's great or anything, but he didn't put up a huge fight, so that may be what they're relying on to get back on the lead lap.
6 to go. There's the gap from the last car on the lead lap, which is now Bowman in 15th.
Well, and this is actually a great opportunity for Chase Elliott. He's right behind the leaders. He can see the line they're running, how their car's handling, but where they're maybe a little bit faster than he is, and maybe give that information to Alan Gustafson on the box. They can maybe make an adjustment to help him for the next run.
Chase running right about where he restarted at the end of stage 1. This has been, dare I say, a caution-free race, but for the competition yellow at lap 50 and the stage-ending caution at lap 130. Looks like we're going to stay green to the end of stage 2. The final stage will be 140 or 240 laps long.
Mike, I think most of the guys that race here, we know it's 500 laps. We usually go about 300, 350 laps before we lose our mind. And then when that happens, all heck breaks loose. Just tell you, you've been out there long enough.
You're gonna lose something: brakes, tires, or your mind.
Your mind.
Three to go. And pit road is closed with 2 to go. Now, Kasey Kahne already a lap down. Here comes Bowyer. He's looking to the inside. Kasey Kahne is there, and Blaney had to go to the outside, which he's not had to do in this run, to get by Kasey Kahne. And Bowyer had a shot.
He did, but that was another impressive move by Blaney to go to the outside of Kasey Kahne and complete that pass.
I tell you, Blaney is running this track like a lot of the veterans I've seen run this track. He almost looks like Jeff Gordon going around this place. He's so smooth, and he just knows when to go and when not to go.
Well, he might start making his collection of clocks here if he keeps running like this today.
No kidding.
There's the green and white checkered flag for Ryan Blaney. Bowyer second, Kyle Busch third, Keselowski and Hamlin. And looks like Jimmy's going to pick up a point here. Johnson is 10th. Ryan Blaney gets his 6th career stage win and his first on a short track. It's his 2nd stage win of the season. Two stages complete, 265 laps at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. Snowed out from yesterday. Here's a look at today's Toyota top performers. Kyle Busch in 3rd. He's led 23 laps today. Denny Hamlin led 110 laps, currently in 5th. Martin Truex led the first 4 laps. Daniel Suarez, Eric Jones, all in the top 20. Jones and Suarez a lap down. And here's what happened under caution. A little puncture wound there for Brad Keselowski. Got in the back of Eric Jones there. Vince?
Clint Bowyer, pitting from 2nd place position, said the car's rolling really well, but I need just a little more drive off if I'm going to be better than Blaney and win this race. So they're going to make a slight air pressure adjustment, trying to help that right rear drive a little better. Jamie?
Kyle Busch in the 18 said he has just a bit of a soft push in the corner. Said they did not hurt it with that adjustment last stop. It's a wedge and air pressure adjustment. Matt?
Front tire changer Ryan Flores calls Wall Stadium in New Jersey his home track. Greg Donlin going to work on the back. Blaney says the car is still loose on entry. He can build tight in the middle of the corner when he really gets into that rubber that's worked into the racetrack. Great stop.
Sunoco race off pit road goes to Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch. And let's see if we can connect with our stage 2 winner.
Ryan Blaney at CW. You got me, buddy?
Yeah, hey, gotcha.
Hey, brother. You look, you and Jeremy got that car on a rail today, buddy. I mean, how's it feel out there? It looks great.
Yeah, I think our car is pretty good. I thought towards the end of 14 kind of ran us down a little bit, but we were able to hold our own. So I think our Lib Menards Ford is pretty
strong, but we still got almost half this race to go. So hopefully we can stay up front here, keep it clean, and keep getting our car better.
Well, you're doing a great job, young man. Keep it up, and we'll be watching. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Ryan Blaney, our stage winner, trying to put Ford back in victory lane for the first time in almost 30 races. Enjoy next weekend with the Easter Bunny, but in 2 weeks be right here on FS1 for the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500. Coverage begins 12:30 Eastern on FS1, or you can stream it live on Fox Sports Go.
Boy, DW, I don't know about this. Starting on the outside for Blaney with Kyle Busch on your inside.
I saw Keselowski do that here last year, I think it was, and it cost him the race. Not a good move.
Coming to the Geico restart zone to begin the final stage. Nice getaway by Blaney. He can't clear Kyle into the corner. Now he does.
Well,
never mind.
Makes a liar out of me.
Yeah,
I mean,
never mind.
That car is that good.
Oh, wow. I guess he wanted his teammate lined up behind him because Keselowski was right behind him. Thought maybe he could help him out maybe.
Well, he did give him a little nudge, but other than that, I don't know what help Keselowski could really give to Ryan Blaney on that outside second row, but he didn't need it. I am so impressed with the way he arced that car through the corner on the top groove.
Man, that's got to be demoralizing to Kyle Busch in that 18 car when you drive around me on the outside.
You know, DW, I know for you, you came here and ran so well. For me, it took me a long time to figure this place out. It actually took a test where I think I ran about 1,000 laps here over a couple of days before it all of a sudden started to click. I just was lost before that. How long do you feel like most drivers today it takes before they start to figure this place out?
Well, we used to be able to test here, so we came here and tested a lot. I had a theory. I was good here and I wanted to stay good here, so I always came and tested here. But this is how I grew up. This is what I did Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night every week of my career when I first started. So this was home to me. It wasn't foreign. A lot of these guys got to come in here and adjust themselves to this track, and I never had to do that. Some do. Right now, Ryan Blaney, I don't know how many times he's run here. We can get our stat boards to tell us, but he runs here like you do. He looks like you going around here.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he has some late model experience here at Martinsville. DiBenedetto having some smoke, looks like a tire up the left front.
Well, that is courtesy of Chase Elliott. Chase was trying to race his way up through the field, and he sent Matt almost up into the wall in turn 3. So DiBenedetto has to pit.
But you know, Jeff, back to how many times you got to run here. Some drivers just take to this place like a duck takes to water. Other guys struggle. Juan Montoya struggled here. Dario Franchitti struggled here. It seems like guys that don't have a lot of a short track experience, obviously they have a hard time here.
Well, and even the short track experience I had, most of it was on dirt. Wasn't anything like this track, and I think that's why it took me a while to run a track like this. Hard on the brakes in the corner, rolling through the center of the corner, having to be so patient back to the throttle. That just took me a long time.
Yeah, this is Blaney's 5th Cup race here. And if I had to pick a number, I'd say 5 or 6 times. I think that's probably a good number that you would come here and learn everything you need to know about the track.
Clint Bowyer up to second, 6/10 behind Ryan Blaney. Vince?
Yeah, not much has gone wrong for Bowyer today, that's for sure, as he just passed Kyle Busch to move into second. But they did have a bit of a hiccup on that last pit stop. Did not get the fuel full. They were about 3 gallons short. Now everybody's going to have to stop again, so it's not going to be a major issue, they don't believe at this point, but they're not going to be able to go as long as others would who did get it full, about 3 gallons short.
You know, of all places that you can get by with not having a full of fuel, this certainly would be the place. But I've got to say, to your point, Mike, we've only had the 2 cautions, and that was the competition caution, or the 3 cautions in the end of the 2 stages. So, yeah, you don't want to have to short pit here because you absolutely would go 2 laps down. But I get a feeling that we're going to see some cautions coming up here in the near future.
Well, Larry, one area I think it could be a benefit is right now. He has 3 gallons less fuel than the 12 car. That means that car is lighter than the 12 car. And right now it's showing up on those lap times. He's fast.
Yeah, and Larry, how many laps would that keep you from running if you were a 3-gallon short on fuel? When would you have to pit?
Yeah, what you'd probably have to do, Daryl, is you'd probably have to pit about 20 to 25 laps shorter. And right now we went back racing at lap 271. These teams can go to about lap 420 if we stayed green. So you'd have to pit somewhere probably around lap 390 to 400, roughly 100 laps to go.
Their lead is closing up here. Clint Bowyer now right in Blaney's tire tracks. Larry, let's go back to 6th place. And that punch out in the nose of Brad Keselowski's car, when they serviced his car on pit road, they hardly even took a look at it.
Well, yeah, we've been looking at that hole, and you can see it right there. I mean, that is quite a hole. But Mike, I just have to believe it's not something you want to see in the nose of your race car. But I just think Paul Wolf figures the risk of trying to repair that and losing position is not worth giving it up.
Thanks, Larry. And we've got a new leader for the first time today. Clint Bowyer is out in front in Martinsville.
Boy, and he made it look so easy.
Yeah, he did.
He just drove right by Blaney. I don't think Blaney put up a real big fight, but boy, that 14 car is going.
Well, and that's what I think Blaney decided to do, and you got to give that young man a lot of credit for the patience he has. He knows this is a long run possibly coming, and there's no reason to fight and wear those tires out right now, and especially trying to run the pace that both Kyle Busch and Clint Bowyer are running right now.
And back to that hole in the 2 car, it's right over the right front wheel. That puts a little more cool air to that right front tire and brake. So it's almost like having an additional brake duct up there.
So that can't hurt.
Can't hurt. An aero is not a big deal here. So I think it's a plus, if anything, more than a minus.
Well, Brad's a thinker. Maybe he did it on purpose.
He might have.
That occurred to me. You know, if it was going to benefit, you wonder about things like that, do you?
I think he's like a mad scientist, that guy is.
Now, can Ryan Blaney hold off Kyle Busch for second?
Nope.
No, I don't think so.
NFL.
Not for long?
Not for long.
Okay. And now Denny Hamlin.
What the heck?
Puts Blaney back to 4th.
Took that air pressure adjustment out of it. Seems to have helped Denny Hamlin. Look who's creeping into the picture there.
Mr. Where did he come from?
Yeah, this guy we haven't talked about a whole lot in the last couple of weeks.
But I think that's a product again of where he started. He started pretty far back in the field. I think 8th or 9th, 10th, somewhere in there. It's taking him a little time to methodically work his way to the front.
Matt?
Mike, Kevin Harvick wanted to go in a different direction. When they made their pit stop, they made a wedge adjustment. He felt like the run before was where the car really took off better and it lasted longer in the run. So different direction paying off on the 4.
Well, remember, you know, his teammates leading the race, the 14 car, you can't tell me they don't share information, air pressure and other adjustments they may be able to make on a pit stop. That could be a big advantage for Kevin.
That's Jimmy Johnson up close and personal with Joey Logano.
Yeah, he's putting a lot of pressure on Joey Logano. He's really wanting that position, and Joey, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He'll roll into the corner, go up the racetrack a little bit, give Jimmy just enough room, but not enough to allow him to get underneath and make that pass.
So the Penske car is now 5th, 8th, and 9th.
Mike, I think this 48 car, I've been watching him, and Jeff and I have, he has slowly but surely worked his way into the top 10. They seem to get that car a little bit better every pit stop. He just now moved by the 22 car. This 48 car is a pretty good looking car right now.
9th place for Johnson. So Ryan Blaney in stage 2 absolutely had the car to beat. Now that he's been pushed back to 5th place, how's he feel?
Nearly as good. Top turn is good. For the middle here, late center, I'm bad. I like my drive off any better. I'm just tighter. Make it last as long as I can.
Well, I think back to the end of stage 1. Denny Hamlin won stage 1. They came in. I don't know if they made some adjustments, but as they took off in stage 2, he wasn't as good. Now Ryan Blaney wins stage 2. Now he's not as good. You know, there's something about leading the pace or running that faster pace when you're the leader and you take off. It seems to change the balance in the grip of the car.
Yeah, I think, Jeff, don't you believe a little bit of it is the car was so good they didn't want to do anything to it. Everybody else adjust, and he doesn't, and they go by him.
Guys, y'all been talking about how low they run these air pressures, and we've also well documented how low they run these race cars. They're just locked down. The only springs they are seeing are those Goodyear tires, and I think that's why we're seeing such a subtle air pressure adjustment make such a big difference in these race cars, sometimes for the good, sometimes not for the good.
Yeah, good point. The other thing that's changed is the race pace. Late in that run, when Ryan Blaney was leading, a lap in the teens was an anomaly. That was fast. Now, a lap in the teens, 21.1 something, is an anomaly. It means you're slow. The leader's pace has been well below 21 seconds here ever since they fired off for stage 3.
You're exactly right, Mike. So the pace picks up. You don't make the right adjustments or don't make any adjustments, you get left.
Well, and when you run a faster pace, it builds those tires and those brake temps up totally different and changes the way the car reacts and the balance front to rear of that car.
Clint Bowyer has led 15 laps. We've got 200 to go in Martinsville.
Hello, boys. Have some fun today. Playing the snow last night? Have you at the hotel there with us so you could witness the kind of aggression we had in our snowball fight. That's what you're going to need today. Have fun out there today. Ain't nobody here better than you. Go get them. Love it.
Let's go make it count. Give us another clock.
Tick-tock grandfather clock. Time for our Credit One Bank ones to watch.
Well, I've got my eye on Clint Bowyer. You know, I just think about the struggles that he's gone through over the last few years, transitioning to get over to Stewart-Haas Racing, but I think today is the day. He's finished second here in 2013, leading this race right now. He might get the win today.
Jeff, I want to get an attaboy to A.J. Allmendinger. He's sitting back there running in 7th. He started the year off with a 10th place finish in the Daytona 500. It has been a rough go since then. If his crew can pick up the pace a little bit, he might get a top 5 out of this run.
Denny Hamlin won stage 1, started 6th today, second leading all-time winner at Martinsville. After stage 2, did they make the right adjustments to get him back to the front and get another clock?
Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to bump you like that.
Bump and run.
I'm sorry. Hey, look, my guys won one race here. Kevin Hart going here 2011. I think he passed Dale Jr. He was going for 4 in a row last week. It didn't happen, but he's going to pick up a new streak today. Watch that 4 car. Bump him to the front.
It's a small booth.
It's a small world we live in.
1.7 seconds up on Kyle Busch.
I said, excuse me.
Hamlin, Harvick. Yeah, thank you. What was that, 1 tap? And, yeah.
That's just 1 tap.
That's right.
But I saw that as 2.
It was a tap and run.
You lose count when you're the one tapping.
One more and I was going around, right?
But we're only 40 laps away from losing our mind, so don't worry.
That's true. Larry, what about pit stops? I mean, we're 189 laps to go.
Yeah, I've been doing some math, and, you know, we pitted at lap 265. We went back racing at lap 271. We should be able to go, if you've got the car full, to about lap 425, 75 to go. But I've done more math on Clint Bowyer. If indeed he's 3 gallons shy, it's about 8.5 laps per gallon here. So that means he's going to have to pit somewhere around lap 390, which would be 110 to go.
So if he has to short pit, is there any advantage in doing so?
He only hopes it cycles through the green flag stops. If it does not, I mean, I think his day would be done.
Yeah, Larry, when I think of all the tracks that crew chiefs fear and drivers fear coming on pit road during a green flag to make that stop, it's this place. You know more. You can lose so much time on pit road here because it's such a long, slow pit road.
You know, Mike and Jeff, I think you can agree with this. This track kind of is a best of both worlds, if you will. That's probably not the right way to put it. It's physical and mental. A driver here is using his left foot, you said 1,000 times. So he's using his left foot 1,000 times to match that brake, 1,000 times or plus to match that throttle. But he's also got to think about his line. He's also got to think about cars in and out. There's so much a driver mentally has to take care of as well as physically. I always felt this place wore me out. I was used up when I left here.
Well, a great point. You do it 1,000 times. I don't know anywhere else in sport you do something this rigorous 1,000 times in one afternoon. And the question we posed to Clint Bowyer was, do you think race car drivers are athletes?
That's not. for me to decide. I think, you know, what we do is grueling and taxing mentally and physically, but is it the same muscles, is it the same mental fatigue as you have in a football game or a baseball game? No, but every sport's different in that manner, and I think our sport's no exception.
And that's a good point. Let's say football. Let's say you go to scrimmage 100 times in a game, and that's action and excitement, and it takes a lot of strength and dexterity. But you're not going 100 miles an hour in between each one of those plays like these fellows are.
Well, you take an athlete and put them in the right side of one of these race cars around Martinsville and run a 500 laps. You tell me if these guys are athletes.
I think it's endurance. If I had to compare my driving career or any of these guys, really, I would to a marathon runner, where you have to prepare to be able to stay in good shape and run for a long, long time.
Well, and especially days like today, as we see a great battle happening here for 9th place, 10th place with Joey Logano and Jimmie Johnson, is you're in the car, especially a day like today where there's so many green flag runs, the focus, the mental focus, and the physical fatigue, you put those together. I think it's one of the most grueling experiences an athlete will go through.
Well, here's a reverse of the battle. Earlier it was Johnson tapping on Logano's bumper. Now it's Joey trying to get by. Jimmy's going to have to give him room down here in the corner. There's a lap car ahead that maybe Logano can use as a pick. Ray Gaulding, nope, Jimmy scoots away and the lap car gets down out of harm's way.
Boy, Jimmy
Eric
running
Almirola
really
right there
high
as well.
at 3-4.
A lot of guys, I think, Mike, some of the mid-packers.
I heard him say tight late center, so that's the late center of the corner. He tried to raise the track bar up, and all it did was make him spin the tires up off the corner.
I think what I'm seeing, Mike, is probably from about 7th and 8th down to maybe 15th. Those guys have made their cars better. They're running better lap times. They're racing each other a little bit harder. I know we're coming closer to the end of the race, but I think the mid-packers, if you will, have really improved their cars a lot.
How about Eric Almirola? His worst finish this year, 13th. He's running 12th right now in the midst of this battle, and so is Alex Bowman. Bowman, who stayed on the lead lap at the end of the stage. Chase Elliott did get the free pass then, but Bowman right in the mix. Let's dig a little deeper into this Clint Bowyer fuel situation, Larry.
I'm a little concerned that it's more than 3 gallons shy, because we ran almost 125 laps. Watch the pit stop over here. That's the fuel man with the first can. Now he's going to back away. He backed away way too early, but now you're going to see he's going to go back with that first can. He never even gets into the second can. Those are 12-gallon cans, and we had run 125 laps. I'm not so sure that he's not more than 3 gallons shy.
Wow.
Well, based on that, he is. That's for darn sure.
Almirola just got past Johnson and Logano. How did he do that?
Yeah, and Logano's losing his patience. He got in the back of the 48 to Jimmie Johnson, loosened him up.
Fortunately, folks, we have replays.
Inside the 10.
Little contact right there. The 10 was already making a move to the inside.
88's there.
Now here comes 88 and Bowman.
21's one off of him.
And Bowman got past both of them.
Yeah, those are a couple of cars I thought had really improved their cars from earlier in the day. The 10 and the 88 have been able to make some passes.
Paul Menard coming back into it. Bowman now 11th, leading this group.
Yeah, Almirola's up to 10th. Not a great car, maybe not a winning car, but they've certainly made the car better.
You can see Jimmy runs that really wide line, gets a little bit of momentum off the exit. It's just making life really difficult for Logano to be able to get back to the throttle and get that drive up off the corner. He's got the center speed. If he can just maintain this right here, he's probably going to give him a little kiss, say, hey, I really want this position. How hard are you going to fight me for it?
Jeff, I just think you're asking for trouble, though, when you leave that bottom open, let somebody drive on you like that. Remember the short track rule? 8 tires are better than 4. Well, I think I might use all 8 of mine.
Well, and I just wonder, is Jimmy's, you know, he's so good here. He's ran so many laps here. He's done so well. Just wonder if he's pacing himself for a very long run here that we know seems to be coming.
If you had to choose to be best corner entry rolling the center of the corner or drive off? What's your preference here?
You just, at least in my time, and Jeff may think something, I never liked charging the corner here. You cannot make this, you can't make a car turn with your foot on the brake. So you had to get the car to get to the middle of the corner with your foot off the brake. Then you had to be able to turn the car, get it to turn, and then accelerate forward. That's what I worked on, off the corner.
Yeah, and I would say, to me, if you can get the car to rotate in the center of the corner, it usually helps you get pointed straight up off the corner. I like to manage the entry of the corner with brakes, steering wheel, how I drove. I could drive a different line, but there's not a whole lot I can do on the exit to help.
One other thing real quick, Mike, while we're on the subject. We didn't have a gear rule, so you could run any gear you wanted to. I always ran the lowest possible gear I had in my arsenal at this racetrack, because I knew that I wanted that car to accelerate off that corner. So I always pulled a low gear, really low.
Kyle Busch 1.3 seconds back of the leader. Jamie?
And Kyle Busch on that last stop, they made a wedge adjustment, and now he's telling Adam Stevens, his crew chief, just hurting the drive off. We're helping the center, but hurting the exit. Meanwhile, his teammate Denny Hamlin in the 11 right behind him. That was the first time they had made a wedge adjustment today, and now he's saying he's just too tight in the center of 3 and 4. May want to go back on those adjustments coming up.
Yeah, and Jamie, what that does, you got it when it's tight in the middle, you got to put an extra wheel into it. Then when you pick up the throttle, the front tires bite and the back end snaps. So it's a push-loose problem. You fix the push, it'll take care of the loose.
Kevin Harvick in 5th behind Ryan Blaney, who's led the most laps today. Harvick up into the top 5. And the dinger. A.J. Allmendinger in 6th place, having a good run as we expected.
Another impressive run here at Martinsville by A.J.
He's kept his nose clean and just done a really nice job all day long, A.J. Allmendinger.
Kurt Busch is 7th, 7.6 seconds off the lead.
We haven't spoken much about Kurt, but it's just one of those days when he's kept his nose clean, staying in the top 10.
Wouldn't you like to be the guy that nobody talked about the first 400 laps? And then, not the case for Martin Truex. He led the first 4 laps of the race after starting on pole for the 3rd week in a row, though this week they were lined up by owner points. And currently Truex in 8th. Brad Keselowski, we thought might be the car to beat here today, and was strong in the early going, led 1 lap, but is currently in 9th. Eric Almirola is the 6th of 6 Fords in the top 10 on what's been a good day for Stewart Haas. Looks like all that simulating paid off for Alex Bowman.
The simulator pace is starting to come to him.
And now Joey Logano, after a long battle with Jimmy Johnson, Logano settled in 12th, Matt.
The car much tighter, Mike, on this run. He's been working that track bar adjuster. It hasn't helped. Race fans love the short track racing, great action, but also emotions always seem to run high.
Should have wrecked him. Check the right front. Yeah, let him go. You think when you get back to him, he let me go?
Again, Mike, it's part of that frustration. You've been out here almost 350 laps. You're getting a little tired. You're getting a little annoyed. Car's not exactly like you wanted to, and then you have to deal with another driver, and it just gets annoying after a while.
We're assuming he's talking about Jimmy Johnson. I think what happened was Jimmy got by him earlier, and he made it kind of easier for Jimmy to go on by. Say, okay, you go on by, and then later in this run, he runs down Jimmy Johnson and was maybe expecting some of the same courtesy.
So Johnson is 14th, and Kyle Larson is the last car on the lead lap in 15th, 15 seconds back. Clint Bowyer, your race leader, with 158 laps to go in Martinsville.
I'm a big news maker. Watch me go. I'm a big rule breaker. Let it go. I'll see you at the top, and I'm never gonna stop. Yeah, I'm one of a kind, gonna walk my own line.
1 piece of KFC all-white meat chicken. 2 pieces of KFC all-white meat chicken. Holy smokes! This is the most white meat ever assembled in a $5 fill-up. Get this deal before it flies the coop. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Things can get rough out there. The bumper to the back of the 24! You think you got the brass?
I proved it last season.
That was last year. Now we've got young blood ready to take out the old. Start your engines. It's time to race.
How you doing today?
I pity you today. You're in big trouble. Kevin Durant's the best player on the planet.
Stop it, Skip. You know who it is. LeBron James.
How many times do you have to be wrong before you finally say, I give up? Golden State hasn't gotten any better. They just stayed the same.
You talking crazy.
Kyrie's the best finisher in basketball. He's the best closer in basketball.
But guess what Kyrie won't be this year? First team All-NBA.
152 laps to go. Time for a Monster Energy race break. Been a lot of close calls and a good bit of beating and banging, not only on pit road, but certainly out on the racetrack. NASCAR's tightest, toughest track and one of its narrowest pit roads have produced a lot of excitement today, but no caution flags. The only yellows we've had have been the competition caution at lap 50 and the stage ending cautions at lap 130 and 260. Clint Boyer out in front of Kyle Busch by 1.1 seconds. That margin is coming down. Hamlin, Blaney, Harvick.
We're talking about athletes. Have you ever gone around in circles for 3 hours? That's what this is. It's just around and around and around.
I gotta believe that trend is going to change in the later stages of this race. I just, when I see all these long green flag runs, I just believe that it gets kind of crazy and wild around here.
You think about, I watched you race. I was up here for a while before you got up here with us. I watched you race. I never really paid much attention to you, maybe 2/3 of the way, but that last 100 laps, you were on it.
Here we go again. Guess who?
Hello.
Eric Jones and Ryan Newman. That took about 2 laps to unfold right there.
Apparently, Eric Jones doesn't know about Ryan Newman like we do.
Those two have been welded at the fender all day.
I think Ryan Newman is the one that says if you mess with a bull, you're going to get the horns.
Larry talked about this at the opening of the show, and that's the one that I think has surprised me, and that's what I'm going to be interested to see if this plays out on this longer run. Cooler temperatures, track is pretty quick. It's maintaining us. We got an issue with 4-car. Maybe he's just letting the 47 of Allmendinger go by, but I was wondering if we would see some melted beads from all that brake temperature building up, and that's what we've seen has caused some cautions in the past.
I think what we just saw there was Kevin Harvick big picture racing. There's a look at the bead on Ryan Newman.
And something you see that Ryan Newman's team has done to help keep some of that temperature out of the bead area is they've got a piece of metal and a heat shield that's just retaining that temperature in the rotor, but not letting it get out into the wheel, which is where that bead is on the right front tire.
And the other thing, Mike and Jeff, I think the ambient temperature today is so low. It's only 40 degrees, and that just helps everything.
If this keeps up, they may need one of those shields for inside the helmet.
We're getting ready to find out.
They're being pretty nice so far, I think.
Don't poke the bear. Well, it's the best battle on the racetrack, that's for sure. And it is for position. 17th place. Newman and Jones both 1 lap down. And why are they racing this hard? Look right behind them. There's your leader.
Yeah, that's why they're racing so hard. They're trying to be that first car 1 lap down, or not to be a lap down.
And you know what? Newman loves it. He's in there smiling. This is fun. Eric Jones, on the other hand, he's probably beating the steering wheel right now. Why won't he let me go?
Yeah, Clint Boyer, I don't think he's smiling right now as he comes up on this battle either.
Oh, I don't know. He's so good right now. I don't think that'll take him long to drive by those guys.
Now they're coming up on the wood chopper. It's the tree surgeon's car.
You like that car?
AJ Yeley. Actually, that was Glenn Wood's nickname when he raced in the Cup Series, the wood chopper.
Yes, sir.
Lumberman. Sonny Casella's modifieds were always the wood choppers. He had a lumber yard.
Well, somebody's going to take somebody to the woodshed today.
Well, I think you're right. You're watching from the eBay Motors onboard camera on Newman's car as Bowyer tries to put the 31-2 down. How about the leader, Vince?
Well, you know, it's been interesting with the news of Stewart-Haas's dominance early this season because of Kevin Harvick. Some of those other Stewart-Haas drivers and cars and efforts have gone a little bit under the radar, and I think Bowyer's been one of them because it's been a very solid start to the season, maybe even better than a pair of top 10s would indicate. You know, they had a tire coming apart at the end last week in California and still finished 11th, had a loose wheel at Vegas, finished 18th. A lot of reason for optimism around this 14 team. Even Kurt Busch having a good run again today. He's 8th. Almirola, you guys have talked about throughout these early races of the season, has been much better in that 10 effort. So Harvick is getting the headlines, but as a team organization, this Stewart-Haas group has really taken a step forward.
Well, Bowyer had to give Newman a little bump and wake him up because Kyle Busch is closing in on the race leader, and that could change everything.
Pretty sure that Bowyer said to himself, if I wasn't leading this race.
I thought that we were about one moment or one lap away from
close.
Losing our minds.
We're getting close.
All right, let's see. Now Kyle moves to the inside. And to your point earlier, it's always harder for the leader to pass these cars than it is for the second place driver. What I'm wondering is, did Clint Bowyer use up too much of his stuff trying to get past Newman to make him a target now for Kyle Busch?
Well, and that's the other frustrating moment is you look in your mirror and you see where he just lets the second place runner go right on by.
You know why? Because he's not going to mess with Kyle Busch. He might mess with Bowyer a little bit, but he ain't going to mess with Kyle Busch.
136 laps to go. How about a quick word from Duracell?
This is the #1 trusted brand.
Speaking of trusted brand, let's talk about Denny Hamlin, Mike Wheeler, his crew chief in this 11 car, sitting in 4th place. This is their 3rd full season together. They finished 6th in the points the first 2 years together. They have 5 wins total, including that 2016 Daytona 500. That was actually their first race together in their first full season. In 2015, Mike was crew chief in the Xfinity Series for Joe Gibbs Racing, winning 4 races, including 3 with Denny Hamlin that year. And prior to becoming a crew chief, a long history with Denny Hamlin. He had been the lead engineer on that race team since it started many years ago. That would say Duracell driving trust.
Thanks, Larry. This just won't end.
I'm telling you. You know what Eric Jones is saying? I'm back.
Well, it's still a good battle, even though they're now 2 laps down.
Watch
and they're
this.
still fighting for 17.
Watch this. Oh, man, he was going to dive under. He diving that corner off. He was going to make a run, but he didn't quite have enough speed. They are working hard on each other, brother.
Jamie McMurray is about to catch them, and he's also part of this battle.
And you know what, Mike? You could probably ask either one of them, what position are you fighting for? I don't have any idea. I'm just trying to pass this dude.
And again, what they're battling for right now is being the first car 1 lap down. Before they were trying to stay on the lead lap. Now they're trying to be the first car 1 lap down. So they still have a lot to race for.
Well, actually, Jeff, they're now 2 laps down.
I'm sorry,
they
2
were getting lapped
down
for the second time. The only car 1 lap down now is Chase Elliott.
Ah, yeah, you're right.
You know these long greens that we have? You know who's holding their breath? Crew chiefs. Because they know about brake heat, they know about tire beads, and they know that the pace has picked up a little bit. It means you run a little harder, use a little bit more brake, put a little more pressure on that right front tire.
Well, and based on Larry's estimates and the further look at the fuel stop on Clint Bowyer, his tank of gas has got to be getting pretty empty right about now.
Yeah, Mike, this will be the second 100-plus lap run, green flag run that we've had. And I continue to do the math. And if we watch the pit stop right, and we've got the numbers down there from Vince on pit road, so I'm going to say in the next 20 laps, he's probably going to have to come to pit road. But, you know, honestly, here, I'm going to run that thing till it runs out.
What a shame to have a car that good. Clint doing an incredible job. And you got to come back to the pits because you didn't get the car full of fuel. That would be demoralizing.
Yeah, when you're the leader, you want to be the last one to hit pit road, not the first one.
All right, Clint Bowyer to be 125 laps to go. Time for a Monday. Crank it up.
Inside, clear, clear. Smooth and straight. Clear, clear. Closing inside. Clear, clear by half. Closing back to you, inside. Exit door, quarter. Clear. All good, all clear. Push you here, clear.
Wow, a lot of tempers flaring right there.
We need a good day here.
Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, A.J. Allmendinger's in the middle of it. They're about to catch Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, and Kevin Harvick brake checked the 11 of Hamlin. I don't know if he just got really loose or if he brake checked it, but Hamlin got in the back of him.
Yeah, push is coming to shove here.
So he got position of 4 does. He's down underneath him.
Contact with the 78 and the 11.
Contact there, and
then Denny got a run on the 4 car. A lot happened right there in about a half a lap. And somehow the 11 was ahead of the 4.
Kind of pushes him out of the way. I'm not sure that.
Oh, okay, that's what led to the initial contact. And then the 78's going to come in, make contact with the 11. And I think because of that, the 11 went up there, made a little contact with the 4. And boy, Kevin Harvick did not like that and just stood on the brakes coming off of turn 4.
Ricky Stenhouse, a number of laps down, just completing a 4-tire stop under green. Wonder if this is going to herald the beginning of green flag stops.
Boy, I tell you what, when you make a green flag stop here, you're going to lose a couple of laps. And man, you better hope it cycles
Turn 2,
through.
Jamie McMurray in the wall.
There you go.
Ready here, yellow. Caution's out.
Boy, what a break for Clint Bowyer.
That's exactly
Incredibly so. McMurray was 19th. Was around that Eric Jones, Ryan Newman, Daniel Suarez group. And we were hearing on the radio that Clint Bowyer had been told you're going to need to pit in about 10 laps. So it is a break for him. Let's see what happens to the 1.
Oh, the 3 of Austin Dillon got a little bit loose, tried to correct and got in the left rear of Jamie McMurray, spun him around.
Back from Ryan Newman. There's
you know what? I think the 3 hit the curb getting in the corner down there and then shot him out into McMurray. I believe that's what I saw. Looked like McMurray went in a little low, got the curb, and it shot the car up the hill, or Dylan,
Austin, yeah.
So Jamie is able to continue. Chase Elliott gets the free pass, the only car 1 lap down. And Clint Bowyer gets a huge Easter basket a week early.
Yes, he does.
Because he will not run out of gas. He'll be able to make it to pit road and fill it up.
No, but they better get it full this time.
115 laps to go. Vince.
Well, Crew Chief Mike Bugaravich said that they just need their pit stops to be smooth and steady with no mistakes. They had a little hiccup on that last one, not getting the tank all the way full. They can't afford a mistake here. Clint said, I want no changes. Just give me a tear off and 4 fresh tires. That's what they're doing. You see the fuel man going to work there, but they got to get it full here with the 14 of Clint Bowyer. Jamie?
Kyle Busch, the 18, said that he feels like that last stop, they just hurt his exit. They want to go back on that a little bit. A 4-tire stop, air pressure for Kyle Busch. Matt?
Ryan Blaney made it back up to 3rd. He was about 9 seconds back of Clint Bowyer. He just needs the car to fire off better. Jeremy Bullins is going to go back to the air pressures that they were using 2 runs ago. A little bit of time lost there on the left rear, but he's away.
And Bowyer wins the Sunoco race off pit road from Kyle Busch. And we watched the pit stop of Bowyer in full. It looks like they did get it full. 2 cans of gas. And ready for the run to the checker.
Though the season takes us coast to coast, I'm always just 1 click away from the parts I need with eBay Motors.
111 laps to go. Let's have a look at the Xfinity fastest pit stops. Clint Bowyer, Martin Truex tie. And Denny Hamlin made a return visit to pit road. Here's why. This was under green.
This is from the rear bumper of Kevin Harvick. They had made a little bit of contact, and watch, Denny Hamlin gives him a little shove, and Kevin Harvick doesn't like. He just checks up off of turn 4. This is all at green much earlier in the race, and look at the damage that it did to the nose of that 11.
Approaching the Geico restart zone. We'll have 109 to go. Green flag. And Bowyer trying to take off ahead of Kyle Busch from the outside. Nice arc into turn 1. And Bowyer's going to come out with the lead.
Boy, look who's back up here in the front of the field. That 78 car has found his way back to the front of the field. 41 car there, Kurt Busch outside, 12 up there. Blaney on the inside. We got us a race, boys.
Yeah, Kurt Busch has seen how that outside lane has worked for his teammate Clint Bowyer. He's going to try to make it work. I don't think he can stay out there for long, though. It seems to really abuse the tires and lose a lot of momentum off the corner if you stay out there for a couple of laps.
Be interested to see if they got that 12 car fixed up, because he was awesome there, and then they had a pit stop and it went the wrong way apparently, but it looks pretty good now. Blaney in the 12.
And I thought he was pretty good at the end of that run. We saw him, he lost some positions, but he moved his way back up into what I believe 3rd or 4th position.
One of 7 Fords in the top 10. Bowyer leading, trying to get Ford's 2nd victory here in the last 30 races.
You might just think about one Chevrolet, the 47 Allmendinger, in the top 10 right now. There's some Chevrolets lurking, but they got some work to do.
Dinger's having a good run. What Kevin Harvick did to Denny Hamlin, if this was basketball, that'd be drawing the offensive foul, wouldn't it?
He did a good job of it. It definitely made a big impact on the 11 of Denny Hamlin's car and really didn't do anything to Kevin Harvick's.
You know what Harvick said? Mission accomplished. I mean, he might have said that. I don't know.
Well, Hamlin restarted 15th and has gained a spot. Harvick restarted 6th. That's where he's running.
And he just passed his teammate Kurt Busch for 5th position. Little surprise at Keselowski. You know, we saw him leading this race earlier. It looked like it was going to be one of those Brad Keselowski days here at Martinsville where he's done so well, great results. But ever since then, he's faded and has not been able to recover.
Yeah, he was strong in stage 1 and then just kind of hung around the top 10 thereafter. How about Ryan Blaney? Dominated stage 2.
But his car,
Blaney come up from 4th place.
Mike, I really think they've helped that car a lot. I know the 78, I'm surprised to see him up there. We haven't talked about him much, But right there, Blaney just set him up perfectly off forward, got the nose under him, took the position.
Yeah, a little nudge and goes right on by. You know, the 78 has that #1 pit stall, so he can make up spots on pit road with his pit stops. Great pit crew work. His car's good on short runs. It just doesn't have the long run speed.
And is it not amazing how that team is always able to find itself at the front at the end of the day? They struggle a little bit in the middle of the race, but they really tighten it up at the end of the day.
And that's a sign of a championship caliber team.
A.J. Allmendinger gives way to Joey Logano.
Boy, did he give way, too. He just pulled over and let Logano go.
Big picture racing, Darrell, I think. Dinger's run more laps in the top 10 today than in the last 35 races combined.
Man, good job for him.
And that move by A.J. Allmendinger, with that's the kind of move of, okay, I don't want to get stuck in the outside lane. I'll move to the inside, let you go by on the outside so I don't lose any more than that one spot.
Vince?
Boy, they have really got this 47 hooked up, too, because they lost spots on that last pit stop. They were really slow on that stop, and Allmendinger has just gone back and picked them up again. So they have really put him a good piece together for this race here today, and AJ's wheeling it.
Yeah, I think you're right, Vince, but I'm not sure that car's as good as it was before this last caution came out, because a lot of cars are riding his bumper right now.
Jamie?
Brad Keselowski battling right now for 6th position. The problem was 2 stops ago, he said it just took a nosedive. Just the handling went away, and he couldn't keep that front end turning as he gets to the inside of the 41 and tries to clear him. So they went back on that wedge adjustment, made an air pressure adjustment. That seemed to make the car a little bit better as he does. He clears the 41.
Well, and remember the hole in the nose. Now, that it could help keep the tires cool, but also make that car push, because it doesn't have the downforce on it. No, it's not a big deal, but it doesn't take much to make a difference here.
You saw right there, Joey Logano tried to make a move into turn 1. Thought, well, maybe Kurt Busch is going to let me go by the way he let my teammate go by, but not a chance. Oh, a little nudge there.
We only have 95 laps to go, guys, so you're going to see some people, drivers are going to do things that they didn't do all day long these last 95 laps.
Jimmy Johnson 12th, going after Kyle Larson. That is for position.
See Jimmy jumping the throttle, get the car up the side of Larson. I think right now, if you got it, you use it.
Under 100 to go. Yeah,
got it.
Jamie?
And Jimmy Johnson got his first top 10 of the year last week at Fontana. This last stop for the 48, they took a big swing at it. Jimmy said his car started out okay, but it would just go away and get bad by the end. So they made a big swing on wedge, another air pressure adjustment, and 4 tires. He seems to be better.
I'll tell you another car that's much better, Mike, is that 88 car, Bowman. I mean, we haven't talked a lot about him, but he and Jimmy Johnson have slowly worked themselves into the top 10.
Yeah, Bowman and Johnson, 2 teammates, going to have to battle for position.
Well, actually 11th and 12th, but they're trying to get into the top 10.
Fighting for 4th.
Yeah, this is that area where Truex just starts to fade ever so slightly. Each and every lap starts to lose the rear grip. I know that Cole Pearn and Truex have been trying to do everything they can to make adjustments to improve, but we just see every time they take off, good speed, and then it just starts to fade, and he just cannot keep those cars behind him.
And Mike, I mean, track conditions right now, Mike, are probably the worst they've been all day. The most rubbers on the track. The cars have been out there for about 2.5, 3 hours now. You're tired. This is when you really have to suck it up as a driver.
Now, this is a little surprising right here. Keselowski passed the 41 to Kurt Busch a few laps ago. Now the 41's putting the pressure back on Keselowski.
Kurt Busch right in between the 2 Penske teammates.
Yeah, Kurt's feeling, like you said, all that pressure from the 22 Logano. He sees he's a little bit better getting, the 41 and Kurt Busch got loose, maybe wheel hopped into turn 1.
Wow. That's going to cost him a couple of spots.
And Mike, a lot of times you'll work hard to get by.
It looks like he has a problem. You can see him wiggling the car back and forth, wondering if he has an issue.
I don't think it's a left rear.
Nope. Going right back after Paul Menard.
all these tires, they rub the lettering off the tires. It's kind of hard to tell when they've made contact, when they haven't, but I thought it might be left rear, but it looks okay. But I'm going to tell you, Mike, you work really hard to get by somebody and you kind of take a deep breath and say, okay, I can take it easy for a lap or two. No way. That guy's right back on your rear bumper. And Mike, it takes so much focus to drive a lap around here, to hit your marks, to keep the car under control. And then you got somebody riding your rear bumper, and you got to kind of worry about what they're going to do too. So it takes you got to multitask to be good here.
Well, I'm impressed with Truex right here because, you know, he was fading and having some issues getting up off the corner, and Kevin Harvick almost made a move on him, but now he's been able to kind of get into a pace and settle down and really get that car launching a little bit better up off the corner.
I'm going to beat DW to the punch today. I'm going to give you the race trends. So we've only had one caution for an issue. The other 3 cautions was the competition caution and the end of 2 stages. But the average of the last caution in the last 10 spring Martinsville races, lap 467, 33 to go. And in those 2 races, we actually have had 2 overtimes in 2010 and 2012. I still cannot convince myself we are done with cautions.
No, I don't think so, Larry. It's a little tense here with about 50 to go.
Yeah, patience runs out on some of these moves that they've been pretty gracious about so far.
The patience in the car. I mean, your brakes are going to be at their worst right now at the end of the race when you need them the most, unless you've been really conservative. Some guys can make that happen, others can't. So a lot of things happen here at the end of the race.
Or you're going to see somebody make a move like Kurt Busch made, where you're going to drive in there a little bit deeper and you might wheel hop, where earlier in the race you would never even try that move.
We're going to wheel up our way to a double wide break with 82 laps to go.
Three, 2, 1.
Hi there, welcome into NASCAR Race Hub.
Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano,
Kevin Harvick.
7-time Jimmy Johnson. We're happy you're here, man.
Joe, I think we make this look pretty good.
You see the biggest stars in the sport. They all play here. NASCAR Race Hub.
Fun,
fast,
fresh,
unpredictable.
You just never know what's going to happen.
And always entertaining.
It's going to be a good one.
NASCAR Race Hub, weeknight, 6 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
Introducing the new 2018 Ford F-150 with best-in-class towing, best-in-class payload, and best-in-class torque. The F-150 lineup has the capability to get big things to big places big time. And things just got bigger. F-150 is now Motor Trend's 2018 Truck of the Year. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
He's got it righted. Pass by the 18. Contact. Oh, into the wall hard, and they pile up behind him.
Wow, what a race. Wow, what a run.
They live among us, but they say they're different. They say they can do extraordinary things, like defy gravity and deny the path of a rocket. They can move in the blink of an eye. And when they strike, thunder echoes out, unleashing a deafening roar. The supernatural have returned. Astros Rangers, followed by Brewers Padres. Saturday on FS1.
This summer, the World Cup comes to Fox and FS1. Every match is live. Over 300 hours of coverage of the world's biggest sporting event. It all begins June 14th on Fox and FS1. 75 to go in Martinsville. Clint Bowyer has led 140 laps. Ryan Blaney's led 145. Bowyer right now is out front when it counts. He's got a full tank of gas. 4 fresh Goodyears and just 75 laps to go to notch his first victory in, 180 starts. Vince.
You know, it's interesting. Clint earlier had talked about how good the car was rolling, but he wasn't able to drive off quite as well as he would want. and he told crew chief Mike Bugaravich, if you can get it to drive off, I'll leave these guys. They made an air pressure adjustment 2 stops ago, and he has left these guys. He has left them behind the lead by more than a second. There's Mike Bugaravich, the crew chief, on the right-hand side. This team has really bought in with Bugaravich and his attitude and his demeanor. A trip to victory lane would be a great reward for a group that's been through a lot the last few years.
Bowyer looking to break a long drought, not the longest. It's 190 since the last victory for Clint Bowyer. And he went through some tough times. Changed teams, went to a team that was a bit subpar, had to endure that for a season before he could take the seat that was promised to him at Stewart-Haas when Tony Stewart retired. And it's taken a while to build this into a contending team, but boy, they have pretty well dominated the latter half of this race today.
Yeah, and I think, even last year, I don't think when he came over to Stewart-Haas Racing, things went quite as well as he anticipated. So we all know the issues that he went through at Harry Scott Racing, but I think last year was also a little bit of a wake-up call. So, this has been a long time coming. I think we all anticipated or expected to see Clint Bowyer up there leading laps, battling as he made this transition over to this 14 team. And today is finally the day they put it all together.
Yeah, I think a couple of things come to mind, Mike and Jeff. First of all, the Stewart-Haas cars weren't all that great last year. They were pretty good, but they weren't great. So he shows up over there with high expectations, car not right where he needs to be. This year, those cars are spot on. They got them dialed in, and they're working like they're supposed to. But you know what Mike Bugaravich says to Clint Bowyer? I'm not responsible for all those other losses you've had. I'm only responsible for the last year.
10th place at stake here, Paul Menard, Kurt Busch. About 9.5 seconds behind the leader. Last car on the lead lap is another Stewart-Haas car, Eric Almirola. That's because he was running 6th when he was too fast entering pit road on the last stop. So I had to restart at the tail end and has not been able to rebound. There's Almirola. And just in front of him, William Byron. And this rookie has really impressed me today. About 10 laps ago, he was battling Ryan Newman and Eric Jones for the free pass spot. And Jamie, what impresses me about Byron today, he's never run a 500-lap race, and here he is running well.
He is such an extremely quick learner. I talked to Darian Grubb, his crew chief, this morning, and he said he has been in that simulator so much, and some of the things that he learned are braking points, feathering that brake and throttle, and he said, and would you know, he got in the car for the first practice on Saturday, and he just had this comfort level automatically. He also spent an hour talking to Jimmy Johnson about his feedback on this place and what to do. And he also, Darian said, their 3 goals today: be clean in and off the pit road, be aggressive on restarts, and maintain track position. Check to all 3.
I'd say so. He's in 19th place currently. At 15th, Denny Hamlin made that extra pit stop. They were worried about overheating from front-end nose damage, and indeed the pop-off was spewing some water right at the base of the windshield while he was stopped. But now that he's back up and running at speed, that doesn't seem to be such a problem. He's 13 seconds back, and Chase Elliott, now that he's back on the lead lap, 12.5 back.
Yeah, I think, thinking back to last fall, how strong this 9 car and Chase Elliott were, I really expected a lot more out of them today. They've just not had the speed that we've seen them have the last couple of times they've been here in Martinsville. But I'll tell you who does have some speed right now, and in the late stages of this race at Hendrick Motorsports, Alex Bowman. He's really impressed me. He's putting down lap times almost as fast as our leaders. And something I saw about 15-20 laps ago, this car is really launching up off the corners, and because of that, he's able to work his way through a lot of traffic.
Remember something about Bowman too. He hadn't raced here in the last, I don't know what, guys, couple 3 years. I don't think he's been to Martinsville. So I think it's taken him all day to get in that rhythm we talk about and get that car like he wants it, like he likes it. And now he's able to really go make some good passes and move forward.
Vince?
It's been a little snug throughout much of the day, but they've continued to work on it. Crew Chief Greg Ives hasn't hesitated at all to make adjustments, and it has gotten better as the race has progressed. And, Ives was telling me earlier this weekend that everybody wants the organization to make big gains. There's been a lot of talk about the slow start to the season for Hendrick. And he said everyone wants to make the gains faster, but reality is those gains take time. So in the interim, the key is to maximize your capabilities, and I think that's exactly what this team has done today. A very nice effort inside the top 10.
I agree, Vincent. When you look at Hendrick Motorsports, they have gone through a huge transition. A lot of new people, new drivers, crew chief combinations. Takes a little bit of time for everybody to get on the same page. I think when they do, we'll see the result.
Yeah, the easiest thing for you to get caught up in is the outside noise, right? The criticism coming from outside and want to panic and make big, quick changes. But I think that team and their strength is that they know how to do it internally and not let those distractions get the best of them.
You know what, Jeff? Sometimes you got to just quit being good and work on being great. And I think that's something that can happen with Bowman.
Clint Bowyer a second ahead of Kyle Busch. Here's the leaders radio.
Last two laps, it looks like the B.18 is trying to hustle it a little more than he has been. And now we got a 1.1 second lead, maintaining it pretty much. Or he's just really stalling on that wheel on exit compared to what he was doing. Like he's trying to get a little more. So he'll just use up more.
And I totally agree. Lap times are pretty much the same. Last time Bowyer 25 to a 30 on 21-25, 21-30 on Kyle, so really not making any headway.
Yeah, I think what Kyle sees is the gap between them and the lap cars that are getting in between our leader Clint Bowyer and Kyle Busch. He wants to minimize that as much as possible. I think he feels like if he can be close enough to Clint Bowyer when they get into some lap traffic, that might be his opportunity.
Yeah, and one thing I do notice about the 18 car versus 14, now 14 hadn't had to do it very much. 18 can run outside. He's able to make some passes on the outside. I haven't seen Bowyer have to do that much.
Clint Bowyer with a 1 second lead over Kyle Busch. It is 5 p.m. Monday Eastern Time. If you're just getting home, yes, this is live from Martinsville, Virginia. Because Saturday night and Sunday morning, this was Winter Wonderland. Teams gave it a brave effort, and they got the track surface almost dry. But everything else here in Martinsville, Virginia, snowbound with 5 to 6 inches of the white stuff. It's mostly all gone now, and a beautiful day for racing. With 54 laps to go, Clint Bowyer, the first of 16 cars on the lead lap. Sounded like snow globe music, didn't it? 7 leaders, 12 lead changes, only 4 caution flags, just one of which was for contact. Austin Dillon into Jamie McMurray at lap 384.
And Mike here on Saturday night and Sunday is all about the snowman. Today it's all about the wheelman. I'm trying to help you out here, brother.
You're doing just fine. Thank you. Thank you.
All your snow stuff, and I thought I'd help you.
I had a flashback. Snowman was Jerry Reed's character.
It was. He's bound and down.
Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah.
By the way, that snow that was up on the hill earlier, it's all gone.
Gone.
There's no snow anywhere.
Want to thank our Fox technical group, especially for the weekend and Monday they've put in. They had to handle the truck race earlier here on FS1 prior to the Cup race that we're bringing you now with 50 laps to go.
And Mike, you think driving one of these race cars is a hard job? It's out here on the racetrack going around and around. The cameramen up on top of the roof, they are constantly moving those cameras from one end of the track to the other end of the track. Zeroing in on that, and zeroing in on they got to be in great shape too.
Alex Bowman just got out AJ Allmendinger for 8th place. And let's show off the work of some of our great camera and audio people with a Crank It Up.
Clear by half. Nose inside bottom. All clear, all clear. No pressure here, bud. Hit your mark. 4, 2 24 back 37. 24 is your lap. 37 is the lap behind. Both of y'all. It's going to be the red 51 eventually here. On 3, keep taking no caution now. He's going to be up against the wall. Use the middle of the track. Use the middle of the track. Use the middle. Use the middle. Use the middle. Clear low. Clear low. Clear all around.
Trevor Bayne got into the wall. That's what they were talking about. He was the slow car in the front straightaway, and now he will make it to the pits without incident.
They went in a third turnover, Mike, and the car just took off up the track. I'm thinking he maybe has a flat tire, and he hit the wall and rode it all the way around 4, but he kept it going.
I don't think it's going much further like that.
Got a lot of smoke.
Speaking of smoke, Stewart-Haas Racing looking for their 4th Martinsville win. Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, and Kurt Busch have been to victory lane for Stewart-Haas.
See if we can figure out what happened at 6.
Wonder if it was a wheel hop, as happened to Ricky Stenhouse in practice.
Could have been.
Oh, yeah, that looks very similar to the same issue. You can see the skid marks from the tires as they skip across that concrete, and that's a sign of wheel hop, where you get into the corner, you get on the brakes, and those rear tires start to lock up. There's not a lot of weight on those rear tires, so they just start hopping, and you lose complete control.
And Mike, as symmetrical as this track is, turn 3, when you go in there, it's a little bit of a downhill.
Yep.
And so the car gets just a little wee bit light as it enters turn 3.
Now you saw the teammates there trade 6th place. Logano passing Keselowski, and I believe Alex Bowman was catching them. A couple of lapped cars in between, but Logano now 6th, Keselowski 7th, Bowman still 8th.
40 laps to go, guys.
Tick-tock. If I mentioned grandfather clock, then I think Eddie Gossage will have given away all his stuff, although you did earlier, Jeff.
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Yeah, you did right off the top. Texas Motor Speedway, 2 weeks for their big race weekend. Next week, we'll all enjoy Easter at home with the families, and then we'll see you in 2 weeks in Texas.
You know what Eddie needs to do? He needs to take a break. Breaks.
Was that one of them? Breaks? You know, thinking about Trevor Bayne's incident, that's just, to me, a product of this racetrack. As you get down to the closing laps of the race, you start driving in the corner a little bit deeper. The brakes are not quite there as much as they used to be. You're using, up your fenders a little bit more, trying to make these passes. You start running out of patience, and that's why we've typically seen so many late cautions here. So I know we've had a lot of green flag runs, and it might go green all the way, but there's also a pretty good chance that caution could come out again.
And Trevor Bayne did get back out on track.
Yep.
He is out there 9 laps down now.
And I don't care how good a shape you're in, Mike, that left leg gets tired.
Oh, yeah, your foot, the ball of your foot is almost completely numb from pushing on that brake pedal so hard.
There is the gap, 1st to 2nd. It has not changed in the last 40 laps. It's been 1 to 1.3 seconds. Only 1 car out of the race, Landon Castle. Greg Gaulding 18 laps down. Ricky Stenhouse 17 down. Harrison Rhodes is 14 down, along with Bubba Wallace, who cut down a tire early from contact. That broke the sway bar connector, and they had to come in to replace that in the garage area. So Bubba's now 14 down.
Yeah, Mike, when that right front tire goes down, that sway bar is right there, and the thing will drag the track, and it'll wear it right out if you go long. So that's probably what happened to those guys.
I'm impressed with the run, this final run for Martin Truex Jr. All day long, we've been documenting, talking about how they have a good short run car. We've heard him on the radio talking about just loses the rear grip, but this particular run, he's been able to hang in there really good. Actually drove away from the 4 of Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, I think he's actually gaining on Blaney in the 12 a little bit. His lap times are a little quicker, so I'm sure he's got his sights set on trying to get up there to 3rd.
So there are no cars 1 lap down. Eric Jones, the first car, 2 laps down, and then Ryan Newman, who goes 3 down to Clint Bowyer.
Bowyer right now is he's on cruise. Hits his mark every lap, does the same thing every time. People are pretty much giving him the right of way. He's got in pretty good shape at this point.
Hamlin Menard for 12th. Remember, Hamlin made that extra pit stop on the last caution flag at lap 384. Right now, the two cars on track that are as quick as Clint Bowyer are teammates Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman, which are the only Chevrolets besides Allmendinger who are in the top 10.
Yeah, 8th, 9th, 10th for the Chevys. Bowman, Allmendinger, and Elliott right now. They could use a caution, I'm thinking.
Those cars, the last couple of laps have been as fast or faster than the leader.
Yeah, when I watch Bowman, when he goes into the corner and he just is a little bit patient, gets the left sides back down to the curb as he does right here left of your screen, that car really launches and drives off the corner. As soon as he gets a little impatient with it, the back end steps out. He loses some of that speed that he's been able to find on this run. But great job by him.
Yeah, Alex is actually, he's gaining on the 2 car, which is right ahead of him. So that's a position I'm sure he'd like to have. But he's done a nice job all day long, kept it nose pretty clean. Get a good top 10 finish here. That's a good day.
Ross Chastain. Another lap down to Clint Bowyer. Well, how's our computer projection model? Good thing Bernie doesn't predict the weather. But right now, Bernie has 7 of the top 10. There are Bernie's picks in order on the left, and where they are running currently on the right.
Well, you know, our third place runner right now, Ryan Blaney, not in there. You know, this is a new team for him. He's new to the sport, so, you know, I think other than that, I tell you what, Bernie has done an amazing job picking, you know, our top 10.
Now, boys, you guys aren't thinking about taking the hats to victory circle already, are you? Because we still got 25 laps to go here, and I don't know, Larry, I asked you earlier and you shot some numbers out there about trends and late cautions and overtimes, and this thing could end up still crazy.
Yeah, we're right there at the threshold of the average last caution. Normally comes with 33 to go. I think the big question, I know as a crew chief, if the caution comes out with as far as we have gone here now, because we've been racing for almost 80 laps since that last caution, you know you want 4 tires, but you know with only a few laps to go in this race, somebody's going to roll the dice and probably go with just right side only. I don't think you can stay out, but I think we would see some strategy played out just trying to keep track position.
Yeah, Larry, what do you do on fuel? What do you do on air pressures? Do you put a little extra tire pressure in there for a shorter run, or do you leave the pressures low and you'll hope that they build up right where you need them? Yeah, there's a lot of decisions, and I guarantee you their calculators, all those things are out on pit road just waiting in case it happens.
And right here is what Kyle Busch wants to see. Nothing between himself and the leader. Clint Bowyer is about a half a straightaway ahead, but now Busch has him in his sights 1.3 seconds back. The question is, as Bowyer approaches a lot of single file race traffic, can Busch get there?
Well, if he does get there, race on, because I tell you, we know one thing for sure. He's not going to take any prisoners. He's going to be going for it. And that's what, I'm sure that's what Bowyer knows as well. I'm sure he doesn't want to see that,
what Kyle Busch
on his bumper.
What Kyle Busch really wanted to see was that he was a 10th faster that last lap. Here's that battle we talked about, Keselowski and Alex Bowman. Great job by Bowman of just being really nice and patient. That's that lower line I talked about where he gets that launch off the corner. Great job to him by running down one of the best here at Martinsville, Brad Keselowski. And he's there.
I thought this would be more of a battle. Of course, it's not over yet.
Well, when those tires get this old, you've run them this hard, the brakes are worn out, it's hard to fight somebody that's run you down from a whole straightaway.
Yeah, and Mike, the last thing you want somebody to bump you. Your car's right on the edge anyway. Somebody bumps you a little bit, gets you loose, spins you out, then there goes your whole day. So you kind of cut your losses here.
Of course, just as we say that, he hasn't given it up yet.
No.
He gave him the space. He didn't give up the spot.
Brad may be hoping to stay double file until they get to Ricky Stenhouse, perhaps.
But you can see this is the advantage that Keselowski has. He can carry a lot of speed into the corner. Bowman just has a little bit more drive off the corner, but Keselowski, you know, being in that outside lane makes it really hard for him to get the run he wants. But now Bowman clears him.
That inside will prevail just about every time. There's exceptions, obviously, but most time, give me the inside.
And the big exception today has been on restarts. The outside lane is, we didn't see that coming.
That hardly ever happens unless it's orchestrated, and most of those restarts weren't.
No.
Yeah, that's been one of the big changes today that I've seen in this race versus past races. I've never seen that be the preferred lane.
All right, here comes Bowyer into turn one. Eric Jones is there side by side with Ty Dillon. Something's got to give there, or Kyle Busch will be able to close in.
And I don't think there's anybody better than Kyle Busch at driving a car that's not exactly like he would like for it. He wants it to be perfect, but he can seem to get more out of a car at the end of a race than anybody.
All right, that battle resolves, but right in front of it, Eric Almirola and Jimmy Johnson battle side by side with the leader closing.
And boy, you talking about Kyle Busch. What did he tell us about running second?
Oh my gosh, he's second again.
He's second again.
Wonder if he'll talk to us this week. I think so. Like Harry Gant used to say, you know, second place pays pretty good too.
Make pretty good living running second.
That's right. And then Harry won a bunch, including here.
Well, don't get me started on that now. He did win 4 in a row.
That's right.
Before we figured out what he was doing. But we knew he was doing something.
Came close to 5.
I think the key here for Clint Bowyer is those 2 or 3 cars ahead of him.
Yep.
He's got Cole Witt. He's got to get clear of Cole Witt, but then he has Jimmy Johnson and then his teammate, the 10 of Almirola. If he can get clear of those, he's got clear sailing that I think might take him to the end of this race and put enough distance in between himself and Kyle Busch. But right now, Kyle Busch is working that lap traffic really, really well.
14 to go. Remember, Kyle won here last year on a last lap pass.
Well, the 14 of Bowyer just got held up on Cole Witt as they came off of turn 2. Cole ran that bottom line, which was the lane that Bowyer was looking for. Cost him a little bit of time.
Oh, bump in turn 2. Allmendinger got hard into the back of Keselowski, who looked like Brad might have brake checked him at corner exit.
Yeah, this might not be over.
This is for 8th place.
Oh, it's going to be over. I'm not sure how it's going to end.
It's just how over.
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah, coming back to you. All right, here's what happened a lap and a half to go on the right.
You see Allmendinger, he gets to the rear bumper of Keselowski and he just gets back in the throttle and pushes him through the corner. I just think Brad Keselowski didn't appreciate that a whole lot. But hey, we're coming down the final. We're almost 10 laps to go.
Here's
Those
Chase
are the kind
Elliott.
of things you have to do to make a pass.
Yeah, and I think that what Brad's, you know, he's kind of frustrated because he's trying to hang on to a spot here, top 10, but they're getting by him left and right.
Yeah, Chase Elliott underneath Keselowski now. That's for 9th place. Here is the gap for the lead. Still about 1.2 seconds. Jimmy Johnson splitting the 2 leaders. Bowyer and Kyle Busch.
Mike, sometime you'll come here and you'll see a car that's just about perfect all day long. Early on, that 14 didn't look that great, but from about 2/3 of the race on, that thing's been on the money.
Jamie McMurray smoking. Remember, he was involved in the only incident of the day when Austin Dillon got into him.
He's got to get all the way around to the back straightaway before that tire comes apart, puts out any possible debris on the track. Looks like he's going to make it to pit road.
'51 got into the wall in the back straightaway. Harrison Rhodes, but continues multiple laps down.
Mike, isn't it funny how you get the last 8, 10, 12 laps of race and everything cars start smoking, guys start almost spinning out. It's like the last 10 laps are so crazy.
And Bowyer, he's seeing all that. He just saw McMurray pull to the inside.
brother. Like you've been all day. 6 more.
McMurray made it to his pit. No problem.
I could just hear Clint right now inside that helmet. He's going, no!
Are you kidding me?
And then the car pulls on the pit road. Oh, okay. No!
Oh, gosh. Brett Griffin. Brett is
There's another one right by Bowyer.
Unbelievable.
That's it for Rhodes.
Now, Brett Griffin has been Bowyer's spotter, I think, ever since he's been in Cup. They're good friends. They're from home together, and he does a really nice job helping Clint through these tough situations.
We once had a driver in Cup named Del McCoward from Savannah, Georgia, who made the pages of Sports Illustrated when he was quoted saying, maybe I never won a race, but I never lost a party. Well, Clint Bowyer never lost a party either. And in 5 more laps, there could be a big one. His Jayhawks made the Final Four. And yesterday, he took a bunch of kids to the NASCAR Hall of Fame on his snow day. Watching the battle for 9th.
Well, I can tell you one thing. If he wins this race and he's only about 3.5 laps away, there will be a party.
And it probably won't end until Texas.
Probably not. Good thing there's a week off.
Well, there's a bit of a party happening right in front of him with some lap cars, so he's got to get clear of that over these next few laps first.
Almirola there. That's not for position. Almirola's last car on the lead lap.
Still there. Half straightaway gap, man. 1.5 more.
So they get underneath David Reagan.
All clear, all clear, all clear. All...
And the white flag wave, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
All clear, man. All clear. All clear. Race is official. Bring this thing home. Playoff first, a Busch Clash entry, and an all-star race, Holland.
Tick-tock, grandfather clock. Clint Bowyer wins Martinsville.
Yeah! Woohoo! Yeah, but yeah! All right, all right.
What is he going to do now?
He's doing burnout.
Oh my gosh, I thought he was going to hit the wall.
I've never seen anybody start doing burnouts before they even got back around.
Great job, everybody.
Come on around here, dude.
Don't get stuck in the grass down there.
Oh my gosh. He went down in the 3rd turn. I thought he was going to hit the wall.
He started doing a burnout about 80 miles an hour down the back straightaway.
9th career win in his 439th start. His last win came October 2012 at Charlotte. First time he's won at Martinsville. And Clint Bowyer taking home the checkered flag. Is today's Sunoco fueling victory. He was runner-up in this race 5 years ago. Led more laps today than in his last 159 starts combined.
You can't be on the roof.
You know what? He can be anywhere he wants.
He Oh man, I love seeing how excited he is about this win.
I think that's is that the snake on the back of his helmet, Don Prudhomme?
He's going to hug everybody.
I know he's got a lot of commemorative helmets.
Wouldn't surprise me if he goes into grandstands and hugs all the fans.
Honoring great drivers. I believe that is the snake. Yeah, Don Prudhomme.
Hey, Don Prudhomme's a big NASCAR fan, so I guarantee he's watching this race. And very proud to be on that winning helmet.
Somewhere between elation and relief, you will find Clint Bowyer.
So happy for him. He's just, what a character.
I think if Clint Bowyer could high-five every fan that's here at Martinsville right now, he'd go those grandstands and do it.
And you know this like I do, Jeff, what a relief. That's such a relief for a guy that's been needed a win so badly, and he finally gets it.
And I can't wait to see what kind of momentum comes from this now that that weight has been lifted off of his shoulders.
He calls his crew chief Bugga. That's okay. That'll work. Big, long, winless streak snapped.
What is 190 races? What's
190.
Wow.
He led 215 laps today. We'll show you the restart at lap 392 in a minute. He wants a beer.
Of course he does.
Anybody got a beer?
He wants to get that party started right now.
I'm telling you, you won't believe this. Oh, it's funny.
There it is. One of the greatest trophies in all of racing that Clint Bowyer will collect. Here's your 5-hour energy extra strength big move of the race. It's the restart at lap 392, the last restart of the day. He sweeps around the outside of Kyle Busch and disappears. Took the checkered flag, blasted down the back straightaway, and lit it up.
Mike, this is incredible. It's insane right here. I've never seen anything like that.
What's more, a driver who almost ran out of gas around lap 380 is going to victory lane. Here's Vince with the runner-up.
Well, it seems like this conversation has been had with Kyle Busch, I know, more often than he would like. Runner-up again today, but what's the positive you take from running up at the front, knocking on the door week after week?
I'm not sure. You know, just I guess the fact that we're you know, a championship caliber team, myself, Adam, of course, and my guys. So we just got to keep executing, keep doing a good job. That's what we're doing right now. It's just not working our way. So you know, the M&M's Caramel Camry was really close today. It wasn't as good in practice. I thought we were better today than we were in practice, so that's an improvement. But for some of the guys that were there and then kind of left, you know, I was not expecting the 14 as one of those guys that was going to stay there and be one that we had to race for the win. But man, it's funny at all of our finishes, for as good as we are with second place, as far ahead as we are of third, that the leader's that far ahead of us, you know. So you know, it seems like we're kind of on our own island, but then we get beat by somebody else on their own island. So you know, all's good. It just keep going.
Your day's coming. Kyle Busch, runner-up today. Jamie?
And Denny Hamlin led 110 laps today, just got out of the car and assessed the damage. Quite a bit of damage here. What happened with you and the four that led to this?
He had just got to me, and I think he bumped me 3 or 4 times. And then, you know, I was just bumping him back, and he brake checked me. So it's, you know, I guess I probably should have brake checked him in the first place. But, you know, it was just light bumps here, and he just slams on the brakes. So classy.
How tough is that to swallow? I know you had a good car early on, better than maybe you guys even anticipated at that moment.
Yeah, we definitely made our car better from overnight. We got a little bit more speed out of it, but still got to work on a few things. But this is definitely a step in the right direction from where we've been in the past couple races here. So really happy with the FedEx Camry. I hate we didn't get a good finish like we probably deserved, but it was still all in all a decent day, no mistakes, and we'll just keep building from this.
All right, Denny Hamlin fights back to finish 12th.
Thanks, Jamie. That's Clint Boyer with Clint and Laura's son, Cash. Named, of course, for Johnny Cash. They're going to cash it in today as Victory Lane gets set up. Clint Boyer has just become the first driver to win a Cup race in all 3 manufacturer cars, Chevrolet, Toyota, and now Ford, for Stewart-Haas Racing. And did he light the place? It looks like a snowstorm. All that tire smoke.
Hey, now, Mike.
I know, anything but a snowstorm.
He's on it, isn't he?
Clint Boyer in Victory Lane. Here's Matt.
An incredible journey for Clint Boyer. 6 times he has finished second over the past 6 years. What a journey. Can you describe the relief?
You know, to have it come here, this is a place where I've gotten so close. I wanted to win this grandfather clock so bad. I mean, Patty come over. We got so close back in 2012, and to see him and everybody, you know, Mike Booga, everybody on this team, everybody at Stewart-Haas Racing. This year, we learned last year. Obviously, Harvick came on strong at the end of last year, but it was a learning year for our team with the 14 bunch. It was just time. For whatever reason, it felt right driving up here. Such a cool place to be able to drive up through the countryside on a 2-lane road and think about the race. And I told him this morning, I was like, damn it, we got to get a picture in Victory Lane. And he told me he wanted a checkered flag. We get that checkered flag. Let me tell you something. Gene Haas, Tony Stewart, to give you know, this old dog a fresh chance and fresh blood, new opportunity. Rusty Rush, everybody at Rush Truck Centers, thank you, brother. Love you. Wish you were here. One Cure's a new partner for us. Wicks Filters is a new partner. It's going to be on the car later. He's really proud of that checkered flag. But just everybody working together, from you know, Harvick leaving a charge with those first 2. Give me one of them damn beers. With his first you know, 3 wins there, and then finally to get to 14 in Victory Lane. It's just a weight off the shoulders, man. It's been a long time. You start to question if you can get it done or not. To have it come at this place, I'm telling you, it meant a lot.
So many meaningful things about the win today. The first time for your kids to be to victory lane, and you mentioned it. This is the place. You're an old school racer. This is the place that every driver wants to have on their resume, and especially have that clock.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a place that's an acquired taste. It's something that when I first got here, I was a duck out of water, just like everybody else that starts here at their first. Learn from Jimmy Johnson, learn from Jeff Gordon, sometimes the hard way, but nonetheless, I learned over the years and finally put it to good use to keep Kyle Busch the best in the business, one of the best in the business. Behind you, those closing laps, it's just the nerves are through the roof. My brother was on the back straightaway, just like old times at Lakeside. I could see his big ass back there rooting me on and telling me just like he did back at Lakeside. So, it's unbelievable how it all came true and to have everybody here. The Dirt Boys, they had a good weekend, and I told them guys to come up here because we were going to have a good one. Mobil One, the technology that they give us is second to none, and just awesome. To watch those Haas F1 cars run as good as they did this weekend, and then all 4 of our Stewart Haas cars had a good weekend. Great weekend to be a Stewart Haas company.
Congratulations. Cash, wave that flag.
Yeah, number 1!
In 1964, Speedway President Clay Earls presented the first, then grandmother, Ridgeway clock to race winner Fred Lorenzen. That tradition continues today with Clay's grandson, Clay Earls. They're standing right next to the clock to do the honors, and that is the grandfather clock that will go to Clint Bowyer. Here's Vince.
Well, over 500 laps today, there were 2 dominant cars. One ended up in victory lane with Clint Bowyer, and the other one belonged to this man, Ryan Blaney. You led 145 laps, but you finished 3rd. Where did it go wrong?
I think we started off really well and made our car better the first couple runs, and we were able to win that second stage there. And I think the track got pretty tight there. It took a bunch of rubber, and we were just a little bit late adjusting on it. So I should have known better. I should have made more aggressive notes and calls to try to get us better, but I can't complain too much. I'm so proud of this 12 team. This is a place where it's not my favorite racetrack. I really don't look forward to coming here very much, and that makes it a lot of fun, and it just shows the effort that this team has made. I can't thank Menards and Libman. We got on the hood this weekend for their support, and a good place to go into the off week and some good notes to come back here in the fall. Hopefully we'll still be involved in playoffs.
Yeah, well done. Ryan Blaney, 3rd. Jamie?
Martin Truex Jr. brings it home 4th. But Martin, you were just watching Clint celebrating. What is it like? You've been through those moments where it was a long winless streak.
Yeah, I mean, just it's so cool to see. He's worked so hard. He's been through a lot, obviously, and has had a couple tough seasons. And now he's obviously with a great team, and they started the year off strong. So Clint's always been really good here at Martinsville. So I know this place is special to him, and it's really cool to see him get that win today. So hopefully I'll be able to swing by there and see him on the way and congratulate him, because it's really cool to see with him and his kid and all that stuff. And I can imagine the emotion he's got right now.
I know you guys just want to get that first short track victory so bad. Take us through your day. It ended up all right, but it was kind of up and down.
It was real down for a while there. We started off the race and we were pretty fast on the short runs, and just the long run was just eating us up, and I just couldn't keep the rear tires on it at all in the long run. So we had to make some really big adjustments after stage 2, and luckily was able to drive back through the field. The last 2 runs of the race we were really strong, particularly the one right before the end, right before the last caution. We were really fast that whole run. So luckily was able to make some gains on it there, drive through the field, get some track position, and then at the end just tried to make it better, and we got worse again. So just one of them deals, but really just for a while there, we were 17th, 15th, 16th, 17th, something like that, and dropping like a rock. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a long day. So proud of the guys for sticking with it. All of us put our heads together and, didn't give up on it, just kept working on it. So proud of that, and we'll get that short track win sooner or later. This is probably our worst one out of all of them, so 4th isn't too bad.
Another top 5 for Martin Truex Jr., Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. He'll lose the point lead to Kyle Busch as Clint Bowyer takes a congratulatory phone call. A long weekend for Clay Campbell and his Speedway staff, but worth it with an exciting race and a really thrilled winner. More to come. Where did this idea of climbing on the roof of cars get started?
Hold me, boys, hold me.
You just might imagine.
Oh, wow.
An impromptu celebration for Clint Bowyer. Dancing on the roof. surfing into the crowd, and then he got back into the car to climb out for the photographers. I bet he'd climb in and out of that car a couple times if you said to, if you needed to.
That's different than me and him. I couldn't get back in my car. I was wiped out.
The party's begun. And you know, what I loved about this race was that you had dominating performances. First from Denny Hamlin, and then from Ryan Blaney, and then Clint Bowyer took over, and it was over.
Well, and some names and faces we've not seen up in the front of the field here at Martinsville. But, you know, Clint Bowyer is one of those drivers that he's just so likable. This is a favorite among the garage area and among the fans. And also, you know, he's a short track racer. He's just a great race car driver. So I think this is going to be a very popular one to go into our Easter break, and then we head to Texas. But that was a great race.
Oh, absolutely. You saw him hugging the clock as Clay Campbell made that presentation. That's just such an iconic trophy. I know you fellows both have a bunch of them, and but it's just so cool. Everything about this place.
I think what was cool to me was he broke a 190 race losing streak, if you will, but having his son in victory circle, having Chase Cash there with him to share that moment. Look at hanging on to that flag. That'll mean so much to that kid as he gets older. It means so much to Clint. So it's just a great day.
Now there's Laura. The whole Bowyer family is in on it because this is a home game, and the standings will change. At the top, Kyle Busch. Second, no more. Kevin Harvick, of course, with 3 wins. Truex, Bowyer, and Dillon each with a win, but Kyle Busch has the most points over Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, and Brad Keselowski, among those drivers who don't yet have a victory. And the cutoff point right now, Ryan Newman ahead of Jimmy Johnson by 14 points. Matt.
And Mike, 2 observations for Victory Lane. One, I think we're going to need a squeegee from all the beer and confetti flying around. And I don't know if that thing's going to pass the OSS.
No, probably not. There might be some pictures bouncing up on social media here. But no, our Haas Demo Day Ford Fusion was just awesome today. You know, I can't think of a more deserving team. A good group of guys have really come together, worked their butts off. Clint, finally, after 190 races, I think it is, or something like that, gets his win. Everybody at Stewart Haas been working so hard, and you know, we lost Eddie Pierce Jr. this past week or 2 weeks ago, and you know, this just goes out to his family and dedicate that to him. I worked with him at Roush, worked with him for a long time. He's a great guy, and you know, it's a true loss to you know, not have him with us anymore. And you know, also a shout out to my friend Ben Bayshore, the engineer on the 18 car, lost his mom this week. So you know, it brings a little bit of happiness here for our company.
You look at you and your resume. You got Tony Stewart, his final win at Sonoma, breaking a streak. You got Bowyer back, and you've had a lot of pressure on your shoulders as well, trying to get these guys back to victory lane.
Yeah, you know, every week I look at it as pressure. You know, we're out here to be the best of the best and perform and try and win races. And man, you got to cherish every one of these because you never know when the next one is. You know, the last one in 16, I kept wondering, man, when's the next one going to come? But this is a spectacular one to have with all the history here at Martinsville.
And the grandfather clock.
And the grandfather clock. My wife doesn't know it yet, but we're going to have a new addition to the living room.
That's terrific. The inside joke there is that if you're going to have the roof cave in and have pictures on social media, make sure it gets caved in Victory Lane, yes, like they did today. Bowyer celebrates with wife Laura, son Cash, and daughter Presley in Martinsville Victory Lane after a long winless streak that is finally snapped. And a grandfather clock to wind. Coming up next on FS1, it'll be Adam Alexander and NASCAR Race Hub. We'll take a week off, and then we'll be in the Lone Star State. Sunday, April 8th on FS1 from Texas, beginning with NASCAR Race Day, and then the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500. Back at the high-speed track.
Yeah, get to watch some big Haas. Get to watch on the big screen TV there. It's a great track.
Great celebration for Stewart Haas Racing. Only the second time in the last 30 races that a Ford has won here at Martinsville. Snowed out Sunday, great race on Monday. For Michael Waltrip, Vince Welch, Matt Yoakum, and Jamie Little, Larry McReynolds, Jeff Gordon, and Darrell Waltrip, I'm Mike Joy, congratulating Clint Bowyer and Stewart-Haas Racing on their win today in Martinsville.